And welcome, everybody, to Jackson, Kentucky. We are actually on the campus of Hazard Community Technical College System, and I'm Steve Neese alongside James Turner. We have something a little bit different for everybody here this evening, and that's going to be wrestling. And no, we're not talking about professional wrestling. This is amateur wrestling. You're going to be seeing all different age groups of kids wrestling here this evening. We're going to be joined alongside with Casey Allen, actually making his way up here.
Here he comes right here
now.
Coach Casey Allen.
Let me get him set up.
He worked the old Lee's College gym. Of course, this gym used to be red and black when I played ball here a long time ago. Now it's the Highlanders with the blue and yellow trim in the paint. A beautiful facility, college floor. Coach Casey Allen, thank you for inviting WJSN 97.3 to this North Fork Lumberjack Wrestling event.
Yeah, this is, I can't thank you guys enough for coming. It means so much to us. As Clark Fugit takes a kid down right now, that's one of our 6U kids. He finished third over there at the tournament at Hatfield McCoy. He just got the pin. He's tough. He's actually, he's got some genes in him that's pretty special. He's Kobe Fugit's son and Channing Fugit, who is an all-time running back here at Breathitt. That's his nephew, so look for big things out of him. He takes coaching really well at such a young age, and he's really aggressive, and we're super excited about him. But I'm so thankful that you guys come and done this tonight. I tell you, I can't begin to put into words just how much work that we've put in to get this program off the ground, and your all support is truly humbling, and we are grateful for that. And I speak for all the coaches. They're so excited that you guys are going to be here, and we got a pretty big crowd here.
Nice crowd
on a Friday night, so we're super excited about it.
I tell you, Coach, folks don't understand the what you have to do to get this off the ground, get a new sport to Breathitt County. I know we had you guys on the World Famous Sports Talk a couple of times explaining the process, but it takes a whole team effort to get a new sport into a county that has never had wrestling before.
Yeah. I tell you, we put God first in everything we do, and it's pretty spectacular that when we started this, our conversation, 40 days after we started, we had our first event. It was over in Belfry, and 40 is a pretty biblical number, and we were at 40 kids. Had the 40 days from the first time that we started, and it's just been rolling ever since, and God's opened up doors and windows for us, and this community has showed great support so far. And some were a little hesitant, but they were like, if it's for the kids, and that's what it's always been about here in Breathitt County, and we're very fortunate to have that here.
Coach, were you always a high school wrestling fan? I know most of us like the Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, but was you a high school wrestling fan like Johnson Central? They have football success, but also big-time successful in wrestling, too. So were you a high school wrestling fan, or you had to learn this, too, like everybody else?
Oh, yeah, I'm still learning it. I mean, I'm a baby right now. You got to learn to crawl before you walk kind of thing, and Kelvin Hernandez has been a big help in that, but wrestling was something that I begged for when I was in school. I was like, we want this. I felt like
so we could compete. In high school you wanted this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And it's something that when I talked to guys that I went to school with, they were like, thank you. This has been in the works. We've wanted this for so long. And there's, people out here that went to school before me, after me, that's been like, we wanted it. And it's just evident. I mean, as half the mat here is covered with kids in our community that they're just fiending for that competition. And this is tailor-made. This sport is tailor-made for kids in Breathitt County because it's gritty, it's tough, it's you versus the world, and that's what it feels like living here. You band together, and and that's what you see the support that these kids are showing each other. But Coach Holcomb used to, I'll share this, but Coach Holcomb used to lay a mat out in the den floor, a cheerleading mat. And one of us would have to get down, and he would put somebody on top of us, and we had 10 seconds to get to our feet and get away from them. And if we didn't, we had to do push-ups, sit-ups, or something. And if you were big like I was, he usually would put 2 people on you and say, right, you still got your 10 seconds. So it was so much fun, and even then, and just that little taste of it, really really opened my eyes to it. But man, this is special. The kid that's wrestling right now for us is Thomas. He is he's brand new. He's actually only had two practices. He's super fast. He's on the bottom right now as he's fighting to get back to his feet. He just did. Turning back into him, trying his best there. But he's a multi-sport athlete, super good at baseball. But he first day of practice looked at me and said, "Coach, I love this." So.
And the one he's talking about, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, is on the split screen. We got two matches going at the same time. It's the match on the right. The match on the left is on the far end. We're sitting on the stage. The Lumberjack wrestling group has the young man on the right-hand side of that screen.
Coach, tell us about the two mats. We got Steve referred. We got two split screens going. So tell us what's going on.
So the two mats that you see here, the brown one is the one that we bought when we first started this program. We actually found this mat in Columbus, Ohio, and this was an $800 mat. And if you go and try to roll that thing up and try to lift it, that mat right there weighs every bit of 600, 700 pounds in 3 pieces. The mat on the other end is owned by Prairie Central, and they allowed us to come up there this morning to pick it up and borrow it for this duel to help grow this sport. And that's a 7-panel mat down there, and each panel, 2 guys can lift it and carry it and put it wherever it needs to go. So that's our goal. We're trying to get to that point where we have multiple mats that we can roll out and get after it and then roll back up real quick and hopefully we can get it into the schools. That's the big step. So if we can get some mats, that'll cover some of the costs that the schools may have to fork up to get this thing started.
So your goal is to get this into the grade schools of the county?
Yeah, this is going to be our youth program.
Okay.
Our goal is to get this where they will have an alley to get it to the high school. Go straight from the Lumberjack program to the high school. And we've got a plan in place. If it goes through and we're able to have wrestling at the high school, we're going to have joint practices with the Lumberjacks in the high school. It'll be on. Obviously, we'll have 2 mats. It'll be on different mats, and there'll be a way that we can do different things, conditioning and things like that. But it's just kind of bridging that gap together of seeing where the kids are and seeing the kids that's coming up and just working together. It's kind of like what the Lumberjack football program did with the middle school.
Same thing.
They had the same process where they were doing the same drills as the older kids were, and you get the stars in your eyes if that's where you want to be at. So these kids are laying the foundation, and I'm so proud of them.
How many kids right now do you have in your program?
We have right at 40. Last year we had 46. Some of them had moved on to a different area. Some of them, for various reasons, are not wrestling this year, but 40 kids are wrestling. We have some new faces. We got some kids that are in Jackson City. We have some kids that's down in Morgan County. Morgan County's program kind of went under there, and those kids asked if they could join. The parents, it was absolute. This is for all kids in our area, not just Breathitt County kids or Breathitt County students. It can be Jackson City students, Riverside, doesn't matter. We got a Riverside student that's in middle school. Unfortunately, he will not be able to compete next year because it's not at Riverside, and we don't have it at Breathitt for him to be able to come to Breathitt and do it. So, but he loves it, and he's been a part of it, and knowing that he doesn't have anywhere he could go beyond that, it breaks my heart. But at the same time, he understands the importance of what he's doing right now, and that says a lot about his character.
And the fan support tonight, Coach Allen, is phenomenal. I mean, half of the arena is packed here with the fans and parents, and so it's really, this sport has really caught wind fast.
Yeah, it's the fastest growing sport in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
By far, and everywhere you go, programs are starting to pop up everywhere because, to be honest with you, this is a perfect marriage between wrestling and football. The stuff that you're able to get from this sport is it just translates over to the gridiron, and honestly, that's exactly how Johnson Central beat Boyle County in the state finals that they were supposed to lose by 2 scores. They went down there and beat them 21-19, and a lot of that's got to do with the grit that they've been able to get from football. The state's all-time leading rusher, J.J. Jude, was a 2-time state champion, and he was 170 pounds, and he rushed the ball like, nobody's business, and it teaches you stability, leverage and things like that. So a huge benefit to other sports, and it's not just football that it helps. Just the toughness, if you're a bigger kid and you're in the post, and you got to be able to bang a little bit. This is going to bring it out of you, and it's you versus the world out there, and it takes a special character to get out there and do this.
So tell us how the point system works, how long the match is. Explain to us what we're watching.
So if a kid secures a takedown, that is 3 points. They get 3 points to take a kid down. They can scramble around. If a kid was to reverse that takedown, he will get 2 points. If he's able, it's like if you took me down and I was able to get up and get away from you, I will get 1 point for escape. So that's the basic point system there. You get near fall points if you get a kid down on his back and you're going to pin. The referee will do this. You can get up to 5 of that. So there's different ways to score, but most of these kids are like, I'm going to try to pin him and get this over with. So.
Yeah. And I tell you, we got 2 young men right there wrestling. Who is our officials now? We got some Bobcats there, looks like. But who tell us who our referees are?
Yeah, so tonight, and these guys are just troopers, man. They come here earlier today and helped to set this place up. You got Corey Combs and Colin Combs on the mat right now. In the hole over there is Tatum Skidmore. He's come back. He's my right tackle on the offensive line, and he loves wrestling and is hoping that it's going to get in the high school so when he can get back on the mat and actually compete. But he's actually one of our youth coaches. He comes to practice and helps coach these kids. And Colin and Corey, for the ones that don't know, everybody really knows. Even people here was talking about it. Those kids were in a terrible car wreck back in May, and both of them are out here on this mat reffing these matches and doing a fantastic job. They only spent 1 season with us on the mat, and the knowledge that they have and the leadership that they show is just second to none. And man, we're just so fortunate to have them here tonight.
I mean, I saw Ethan here too.
Ethan, yes. Ethan got our break before, and he's a big influence on these kids. A lot of these kids, he helps with the Lumberjack program. Right now, Ethan actually weighs more than he has in a long time, maybe ever. He's over 220 pounds. He's doing pull-ups now, which is absolutely it's a miracle. You know, we're looking at miracles sitting out there right now on the mats with them guys, and it's special, and they're trying to get their way back to be able to participate next year. Ethan will be a senior. Corey, unfortunately, wasn't able to. He's a senior. But Kylan, man, you want to talk about somebody who's getting after it in the weight room. That kid right there is a leader and is getting after it. I mean, he is running. During the holiday break, him and a bunch of guys came and lifted at the den several times to get more work. So it's super. It's just inspiring every time I see him.
And so, what's your goal as far as getting this into the high school? We got a time frame?
Yeah, we were really hopeful that, and I guess it was an astronomical goal. We believe in shooting for the moon, hit a star, but we got it off the ground, and we were like, we want this in high school so that these guys that were in the high school would be able to participate before they graduated. And what ended up happening is they did the interest survey, and it fell second to soccer. I'm not sure where that stands, but we have archery that has like 4 kids. We've got some sports that doesn't, bass fishing has 2 kids on it. And we got 40 kids sitting here, and we got kids at the high school that's like, yeah, wow, absolutely wrestle, and that's.
So it's going to take some advocating from you and the coaches to speed up the process, because the interest is phenomenal here at the grade school level. So the high school level will be a mirror image of this. So you're going to have to do some advocating, coach, to get this to the high school sport in Breathitt County real soon, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. Gatlin right now is my son. He's wrestling a kid that beat him at the Hatfield-McCoy tournament. He is trying to secure a takedown right now to get the points. And if he gets to his back there, that kid's doing a great job.
These young athletes, buddy, you got some strength, don't they?
Yeah. That kid's working. He's a good wrestler. He beat Gatlin early in the tournament. Gatlin had to wrestle back. That kid ended up finishing 4th, which is podium finish.
How did your son like wrestling?
He loves it. He loves it. This is tailor-made for him. Me and him wrestle all the time at the house. So, which that kid has flipped the position there. Like I said, he's just such a good wrestler.
And Coach, how many matches as the Lumberjacks this season so far?
Well, we have several tournaments that we do. We've went to this is our third duel that we've been to. We've been to one tournament. I'm sorry, we've been to one tournament. We'll be going to the bobblehead next week over in Belfry to try to get hopefully get some placers over there. Then the next one will be actually our regional tournament. Be our regional tournament, and the top 5 finishers in each weight class will advance to state. So we're getting in the meat of the season, and a lot of growth being done here. I mean, I love seeing the struggle here because they, some things that they're not learning as Coach Hernandez is coaching Gatlin up right now. It's hopefully he applies it and does something here. That kid is very confident. He's wrestling. He's very good. He knows how to get out of positions when he's in a bad spot. So,
where is the regional tournament going to be held at?
In Boyd County. This year it's in Boyd. Last year it was in Ashland. Not Ashland. It was in Ashland. I'm sorry. No, Lawrence County. It was in Lawrence County. The state tournament, however, was in next to Freedom Hall in the convention center there.
Right.
And this year it's somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure exactly where that's at, but.
Now I see some females too wrestling, some
Yes.
girls. So
Yeah.
how many girls do you have in your program?
We've got about six girls that wrestle, all age groups. They are. Gatlin's rolling him over, trying to get him. He gives up the position there. Kid's still not got points. Gatlin's not scored on him yet.
I tell you what a sport, what an individual sport.
Yeah, it's tough, man, and you, like I said, it's you versus them.
Where are these kids from? We got them another match going on the other side. Different schools. I say schools. Some of them may be schools. Some of them may not.
Yeah, the team that Gatlin's wrestling right now is Chapmanville. They got a tournament in Tennessee, as Gatlin just got pinned there. I mean, the thing about Gatlin is he's bad for trying to muscle instead of using technique. So it's something he's just got to get used to doing. But that's Chapmanville. The teams over there, you got Perry, Floyd County, and then Paintsville is here as well, which Chapmanville and Paintsville kind of come together there because they got so few numbers.
Now Chapmanville, West Virginia, right?
Yes, yeah, they come a long way. They actually, the GPS took them through Grayson.
Oh,
they
wow.
come around that way.
That's probably the quickest route, honestly.
Really?
That's a good road going through there now. Go that way quite a bit, but Chapmanville, West Virginia. I mean, that's. What is that, a 2-hour drive from here at least, if not 2.5?
Yeah,
at least.
The last duel that we had, they were going to be here, and the coach looked at it and said, man, he said that was such a long drive that they had to pass on it. But they're, like I said, he's taking 3 kids down to Tennessee tomorrow for a tournament. So,
how about Coach Jeremy Moore? I know he's your right-hand man with this.
Yeah, Jeremy's took a big role in this. He's
He coached T.J. Fraley, former Bobcats.
Yeah, TJ's joined us a little bit late there, but I tell you, he's been a tremendous help. Speaking of Jeremy there, Jeremy's kind of took an administrator role in it, getting us set up, getting meets the schedule and things like that. Me and him's worked really hard on trying to get dual money, I guess you could say, to get some stuff done. Our goal was at the beginning of the year to fundraise and be able to pay for all entry fees for our kids, which we were able to do. Our next goal is to be able to purchase a second match, which we were able to get enough funds to purchase one, which should be here next week, or week after next. We actually have to go to Columbus, Ohio to get it, to save $700 in the shipping costs. But the goal is that we are going to try to have another mat. But Jeremy is instrumental in that. He pushes for things, and we are really working on. We just work good together, I guess you could say. It's just, like I said, we put God first in everything we do, and like-minded individuals tend to be able to overcome, differences of opinions really easy and things like that. So it's super fun. And he's an assistant coach at the high school. He's an offensive defensive line coach with me. He's the offensive coordinator for the JV team that I'm the head coach of. So, I mean, me and him, we have a lot in common, and we spend a lot of time together.
Coach, is wrestling, youth wrestling, real big in other parts of Kentucky?
Yeah, I can't speak on the western part. I know that there's Paducah's got some the state championship game between Owensboro Catholic and Beechwood. Owensboro Catholic's starting quarterback was the 215-pound state champion wrestler 2 years in a row. So that's your quarterback out there. You know, that's catching snaps and doing things. So it is big in other areas now. It is growing massively in Eastern Kentucky. Andrew Baldwin, who is our league coordinator over in Belfry, he kind of sets this stuff up for us. But he sets this stuff up for us and gets teams to go certain places. And we've got like 8 or 9 different teams in our league. Actually, I think we're up to 11 or 12 right now in the league. And everybody kind of shares and just goes and is just gets work. And man, it's great to see it's growing, and you see new faces every year, old faces. You know when they get on the mat who's going to be the guy you got to watch out for. So
Coach, how many for like each individual player or wrestler, how many matches do they get like tonight?
Okay, so tonight, the way that we are running our duel is that the coaches have their roster. We printed rosters off like the one that we gave you guys. This is our roster. Other teams have their roster, and they'll basically go down and say, for instance, like right here, the one for us wrestling right now is Kay Sloan. He's 73 pounds, and he's a 6U kid. So he's wrestling a kid that is of similar weight in his, of him, and they are
age and weight.
Yeah,
right.
Age and weight. It's all age and weight at the youth level. Now in high school, you can be a freshman wrestling a senior. It's all about weight class at the high school level. So you could be really dominant when you're in the middle school, but you get to high school, it can be a wake-up call for you pretty quick. So, but it depends on what your weight is and your age on who you'll face. But the teams, these coaches are going to go up and down and make sure that every kid gets at least 2 matches, and more than likely there's going to be kids get way more than that just to get work. And the way that we're going to do it, and we talked about it in our coaches meeting, is we'll wrestle as long as you all want to wrestle. You all come all this way. If you want to get work, we're going to get work. So, and this could be, it could last until 10. I mean, obviously, we talked about it earlier. Me and Stephen did. Don't expect you all to be here that long at all. But, it could last to 10. It could end at 10. It could go to 11 or 12 o'clock at night. It just depends on how much work everybody wants to get done. And last one will last until right at 10 o'clock.
Coach, in the City Park League,
yeah.
Jackson City Parks, Brittany down there, used the Leeds College campus here. President Smith, Leila Smith, so gracious, the partnership between the Norfolk Lumberjacks and the Jackson City Parks and the HCTC use this beautiful facility. Yeah,
we're so fortunate to have people that are in leadership roles for the kids that want to see everything happen for the kids. So Brittany Little, who's the park director, when me and Jeremy was looking for a place that we could store a mat, be able to have practice, host stuff like this, she jumped all over it and said, absolutely. With everything that's going on for them, she opened up a time frame for us each day for us to be able to get practice in, which just so happens it's right after school, which is great for us. It's easy for easy for most to get their kids here. We got a few that, like the Morgan County
of course,
they don't get here until about 4, but they still come, and we get work in. So we have it from 3:30 to 5 every day through the week, and then they clear out days during the year that we can actually host, and it's just been a great partnership. She's all about seeing stuff for the kids. They stay so busy.
Yeah.
And she's an advocate for what we're doing, and we couldn't be where we are without them.
How many meets have you hosted on the Leeds College campus so far this season?
This is actually our second meet that we have ever hosted at all. And both of them.
Oh, this is number 2?
This is number 2.
Well, it's well ran for number 2. Congratulations.
I appreciate
it. Smooth. Right,
and the first stream. There you go.
You're the first stream.
It's the first every time there's a lot of firsts that's happened in the last little bit, but this is really a testament to you guys, for making it happen. Steven showed up when we were here at 1 o'clock, put cameras up, found the best angle, and was like, man, we're going to make it happen. And I just, I'm in awe, and I have such a full heart seeing all the support that we've garnered from these guys. I really appreciate it.
And on the thank yous, and I'm sure he's watching, even though he's probably driving and shouldn't be watching this at the same time.
Pull over, man. Pull over.
Yeah, Brandon Griffith. Wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He stepped in. I had told Casey, man, I got to work till 6. I'm going to try to get somebody. I had some people lined up, or I had one person lined up to come in and go live for us, and then I was going to come late. But Brandon looked at me. He's like, dude, let me work for you. You go on, you do that. I appreciate it. That's twice he's done that for me in about as many weeks.
You owe BG a dinner, man.
I do, man.
You owe him a dinner.
Absolutely.
We'll take care of it, though. But, yeah, he's made it work for us. He's also run camera for us a few times. We got Rick Hensley running the camera on the side. We got a static camera here. We're trying some things out. Static cameras on the stage with us. So if you're watching the two matches, we're trying to get them on at the same time. If there's a match going on one end, not on the other, we're going to try to get that match. But this is a trial and error kind of thing for us.
Like we said, there's a lot of firsts that's happened. This is our second event that we've been able to host. Our second duel. The next thing that we're going to really try to push to host is a tournament. Probably, I don't know if we'll be able to host it here because the tournament tends to be a lot bigger.
Yes.
That's a huge goal for us to be able to do. But this being the first ever broadcasted wrestling event in Breathitt County, like I said, guys, I worked at WJSN straight out of high school there for a while. I did some broadcasting for the games and with Michael Watkins back then. I done some with Doug and Bill and even John. I'm very fortunate to say that I've got a lot of friends with you guys, and we're a family. This community is second to none. I had an opportunity, and I share this story from time to time. But after the flood, I was given an opportunity to move my family to Pike County, where I was going to be given a house to live in as long as I wanted to live there. The carpet was rolled out for us to live a little bit of an easier path. And the calling for me has always been this is home. This is where I belong. These kids matter to me, and the people in Breathitt County matter to me, and it does to you. James, I see you doing stuff all the time for people. Same way with you, Stephen. I can't speak. I know you guys don't want the praise for anything, but I tell you, the stuff that you guys do doesn't go unseen or or unwarranted. And I'm so thankful to know both of you, and I'm blessed to know you guys and have you a part of my life. Period.
Well, go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to say we appreciate that. Of course, we see Shorty Combs coming at us.
He's radio shy.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to him for a little bit.
He's radio shy.
Yeah.
I'll come back up here and talk to you guys a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that. We'll get Shorty on the mics here. He's got a couple of young men down here helping officiate these matches, and we're going to let Shorty kind of describe a little bit of what's going on. If he wants to maybe explain how things work a little more. Casey did that for us a little bit. Do want to point out one thing I've noticed is people may see these kids coming out on the mat with a pool noodle. That is letting the official know time is up for that period, correct? Yeah. Now, how many periods do they wrestle?
3. Total of 3. It's really the 60 seconds per match there, and it's really the 3 hardest minutes really in sports. Really, to me, this ties all the sports that are out there together, male and female. If you're a basketball player, if you play football, if you play baseball, softball, whatever it is, this teaches you to really a battle, and the grit is something that it's kind of hard to instill in kids, especially once they get to the high school level. That toughness, this right here brings it out in them. You're going to get your face ground in the mat. And you're going to like it or you're going to get it back, one of the two.
Yeah, and Casey kind of talked about it a little bit. Through the last several years, there's only been a few programs in Eastern Kentucky, but it seems like the last couple of years you've really seen it explode here in this area.
It has. Last year we went to the regional tournament that the youth and middle school tournament that was at Lawrence County, and there was probably 10,000 people there.
Oh, that much?
Yeah,
that many?
Yeah, absolutely. At least 10,000 people went through there. Started about 10 a.m. Most of the kids got there about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning to get started, and it went way up into the night. So, I think in 5 years it's going to be the biggest sport in the mountains. Like you said, it's growing like wildfire, and it's just tremendous when you look out in the parking lot and it is full.
It's full.
And you can go to a basketball, football game and like, whoa, where's everybody at? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Shorty, Coach Allen talked about the connection between, you mentioned it, between wrestling and the other sports, but especially football.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you look at, if you look closely to the next level players, athletes that are, you know, and really in all sports, you know, especially if you say you take the NFL draft,
right?
You know, you keep up with the NFL draft. Those guys that wrestle are way up on the draft board. You know, and especially if they're an interior person, you know, linebackers, you know, they play in the box. Those guys are wrestlers, all of them.
Right.
And, you know, I talk to college coaches and I got a lot of friends that are still in that game, and they will tell you that if you got a kid and they're, you know, 1-to-1, you know, measurables, you know, they're the same kid, they're going to take the kid that wrestles over the kid that don't.
Why is that, Coach? Because it's more individual grit or technique, or what is that?
Yeah, I think you can sit here and you can watch kids battle and battle through adversity, and then, you know, they can get beat and they'll cry. I mean, just we're talking about 10-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids, 13-year-old kids, high school kids, and it takes everything they got for those, you know, those 3 1-minute rounds, and they'll cry. I'm talking about, but guess what? They're going to have to get up. And they're going to have to do it again. And that's what college guys, coaches, they want people that's got that grit.
Got that heart, right?
That's right. I mean, if you know, when it gets hard, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, are you going to get up and do it again?
The other side of the physical side of that is you're also now using muscles you may not be using in your primary sport. So you're not just focusing on certain muscles all the time. You're getting all of them worked out. And coaches always want to see somebody with good, I don't care what sport, good footwork, be able to use their hands, eye-hand coordination, and being able to think. And getting through that, you talk about the grit, making split decisions on this. Okay, how am I going to get out of this move? How can I reverse it? You know, prevent them from getting the point, all that. You're going to need that in every sport you're in, whether you're football, basketball, baseball, tennis. I don't care what, pickleball for people playing that now.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You know, it's that split decision, and you've got somebody in your face. There you are. What are you going to do?
That's right. You know, and even, you know, what we're looking at the benefits of the children involved. Hey, there's a benefit to parents.
Yep.
You know, and you may think, well, that's crazy, but, you know, the benefit the parents get, you know, is we're dealing with it every day as a coach, and everybody's dealing with it. You know, people's not satisfied.
Right.
You know, and everybody's dealing with all these problems, and a lot of it, if you sit here and watch as a parent and your kid, and, you know, I got one of mine, he's not being here and he's not putting everything into it. I can tell. But, hey, when you get him out here on this mat, you know, he gets beat. You know, I'm going to look around and blame nobody.
So, like a team sport, football, basketball, baseball, you can hide a little bit. Here, you're out there for everybody to see. And another thing, Coach, coaches like winners. No matter what sport you're in or in life, they want a winner.
Absolutely.
And then, like you said, you can't hide yourself here now. You're here for everybody to see.
Yeah.
And that builds something else in an athlete, too.
It does. You know, so I think I just talked to one of the coaches at Prairie there, and we just talked, and it was like, you know, this is really good for parents, too, because you know, we all want them to win all the time, but the reality that's not reality.
No,
you
no.
know? So, you know, like as a coach, I've always said I want to know what kids are going to do when they lose, because in life we're going to win, you know, a very small percentage of the time, especially the battles that we have to do as adults. So, you know, to me, this is the ultimate sport for youth kids, and because you can tell at a high school level, sometimes, you know, kids may have all the measurables, but there's something missing, and it's this right here.
And some things you cannot teach, can you?
No, you can't. You know, you
got it or you don't.
You can't teach effort. You know, that's
heart.
Can't coach effort, heart. All those things go together, and those are the uncoachables. You know, that's the intangibles that coaches look for when they see. You know, all these athletes now, they're training from the young age all the way up to 18, 19 years old, and everybody's trying to get their scholarships and get kids free education. That's great, fine and dandy, but, you know, when you put, you know, stacking apples and oranges, you know, together, you don't they don't compare the kids that don't wrestle to the kids that do wrestle.
Right.
You know.
So, how many compare this to other sports? The opportunities in wrestling to go, to a collegiate, get your education paid for, which is kind of what I tell people all the time. I don't care what level it is. If you can get your education paid for, take it. So what kind of opportunities does this sport itself offer?
This sport really is just catching on, especially all the smaller colleges. They don't have a major rosters like football and basketball do, but they probably have a comparable roster to basketball at that level. But there's, I can use O.V. Kennedy, which was a guy in the mountains that stayed here and coached here, and he's still coaching at Bell. And his boy got an opportunity to play this year, and several other more Kentucky kids. It's just getting so much more competitive with football. I will use that example because now you got the portal.
Yeah.
If you know anything about those things, I mean, it's really made the portal has really made it hard on high school kids. Because now you're looking at, these kids are going to play 7 years.
Yeah, buddy.
And they're looking at 25. They want 25-year-old men. They
18-year-old boys, right?
That's right. And they don't want to develop 18-year-old guys anymore like they used to. And so the game's evolved even at college, in college basketball, football. And so to me, this is just something else to put in your pocket, put on your resume that when you go in and get to that point when you're 17, 18 years old and you want to go to the next level, this is something else that you can put down there that, hey, can separate me from the competition.
It's kind of reminds me like a tennis and golf, the minority sports. It's so much competition for college scholarship, basketball, baseball, football, but it's called minor sports with the golf, tennis, track, wrestling. That's a better opportunity for a scholarship.
And the guys that, like when I played college sports years ago, in the 90s and 2000s, all those guys wrestled.
Right.
I was a minority back then.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was cages and fireworks.
Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
And the good stuff. But, entertainment-wise, but, I can give you a prime example. One night, me and my roommates, they were all wrestlers, and it's like, that's, blah, 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 that's all made up stuff, like TV stuff. And one of the guys, a lot smaller than me, he got me down and put me in basically a pretzel. And he cut my wind off, and I lost it. And there's nothing I could do because he had so much more leverage than I did. And back then I was the best player, I thought, on the team. And this guy just embarrassed me. So it's very humbling.
And you mentioned leverage. One of the key factors that I know a lot of these colleges look for in their linemen especially, but football players in particular, be able to use leverage. And you go back to the hands, the footwork, all of that. I mean, it's not something you just pick up and know. And this sport actually goes a little bit farther than what football does in teaching that.
It does. So many times I always told my guys when I coach defensive line, offensive line, if you can't use your hands, you can't play.
Yep.
And, that's the same thing you're getting here. These kids are learning to use hands and balance, foot placement, body control, leverage, all those things happen in basketball, trying to rebound, happen in baseball, being down there low and so I can catch the ball and get the ball back to first base or wherever you need to put it. And, it all just goes hand in hand. And, the athleticism is just a small part of what they're doing. To me, it's all mental.
And I got to brag on your son there. He's taking this officiating extremely seriously and getting down, crawling around the mat with the players or with the wrestlers, and I'm just proud of him.
Yeah, well, you got three of their high school guys here, and these guys took up wrestling last year. We kind of thought we were going to be able to squeeze it in at the high school level, and they got several matches, and they'll tell you they've played football and been around the game all their life, and they said this is the hardest thing they've ever done. Nonstop. For 3 minutes. I'm talking about 3 minutes.
Oh, I can see you jump kids out there. They're struggling in 30 seconds.
And it is unbelievable. That's the longest 60 seconds.
So tell what kind of shape do these young men and women have to be in?
Well,
how you train for that?
It's another level of shape. Condition-wise for football, you're going to run, change direction. Here, you're going to be just grinding with somebody one-on-one, kind of like a bar fight, I guess, if you really want to consider that. If you took it out in the parking lot and there ain't nobody around, just you and Johnny, and you guys going as long as you can go. It's a grueling 3 minutes, and, I know I never got involved in it. It wasn't really a thing back when we were at that age, but my boys have experienced it, and it is unlike anything else.
So if you can break down, you see the different anklets and the wristbands, anklets worn by the wrestlers, wristbands by the officials. Explain that to our audience here.
Well, that's how they keep up with scores, right? So the refs, they'll have a coin. One side will be red and one side will be green. It's just a round circular disc. They've got 2 armbands, or basically ankle bands here that they use. One's red and one's green. And, as far as all the scoring and things, I don't know all of it exactly.
The exact points.
But the ref will give a signal, and he'll hold up. He's got a red band on one wrist and a green band on the other. And he will hold his hand up and give, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, points as the match progresses. And that's how they at the scores table are doing that. And then if you look, you can see here all these computer screens are running, so the coaches can see where you're at.
And I would love to have those scoreboards going, but everything's just too fast.
Oh, yeah.
Can't keep up with it. But, they do have the red and the green, no matter what color you're wearing, what color your school is. It's red or green to match with those bands. I honestly, I gotta admit, I didn't know that till I got here this evening. Talking beforehand.
A lot of times, at the scores table, they'll look up and they can type in on the system what school is Bingo, West Virginia. It could be, the Lumberjacks, Purry, Knott, whoever is here. It can actually, and they'll put that right in the red or the green slots, which is pretty neat.
Shorty, did you know a lot about wrestling before the Lumberjacks started this?
No,
or like the rest of us?
I just knew, from college that this was something that I lacked.
Right.
I lacked that. I think that held me back. Athletically, I was a good athlete, but this was something that just body control.
Didn't have it.
Yeah, I just didn't have it. I didn't, we were never exposed to it, and it wasn't that big of a thing like that. But if everybody in Florida wrestled,
right?
All them guys in Florida wrestled. All them guys from Ohio wrestled. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they big, very big. Anybody out, Iowa, Wisconsin, any of those people, they all wrestled. If they were a player that. A box type player, running backs, linebackers.
So most of the OVC players,
they
all wrestled.
They all wrestled, even at that level.
Right.
In that day and time.
So are you starting to learn? You like the rest of us, you got to learn this. You got to learn this sport too. So are you learning the language? And
sure.
It takes time, don't it?
It does. It does. But it's not near as complicated and complex as the game of football. There's a couple things that you'll look for. If they have a penalty or something, they got to stop the match, or there's a time limit. They go, 1 minute, and they go in the next round. They'll stop them, and they'll ask the coach, the referee will, and they'll say up or down. So that tells that ref. He'll flip the coin. If it's red, then the red team gets the choice.
Okay.
So the red team, according to what the score is. So if I'm down, and I'm on the red team, and I know I'm down a point.
Yeah.
Right. So, as a coach, I would say put him on the mat. Okay.
That way you can get the reversal and get the extra points.
That's right. So, and if he's on the mat, and when you start the match, that round, if he gets up on his 2 feet and gets away, he gets like 3 points. Okay. So it goes into a point system.
Yeah.
So you don't always get pinned like we do at the WWE.
And it's not a 3-second pin either.
No,
it's immediate. Once the 2 shoulders go down.
That's right. And you're looking for both those shoulders to be placed down, solid. And I don't know, maybe a second or two they give them, and they're slapping the mat and moving on to the next one.
Coach, how about the fans here tonight, the parents? Talking about really catching on fire when they're.
It is. Look on a Friday night, everybody think, well, it's time to we're basketball, but not everybody's going to play basketball.
No, they're not.
And you're going to play 5, and that's okay. That's just a different sport. And we get in where we fit in. I say that a lot too, but on a Friday night for youth, and you're looking at over probably 100 kids here.
Yes.
I can tell you last Saturday, on a Sunday morning, you had 500 plus kids show up at the East Kentucky. What's the name of the arena?
Appalachian. Yeah, gotcha.
At the Expo Center, you had 500 plus youth athletes show up. 44 schools in that time period. You had over 1,500. What did I say? I said 1,500.
That's a lot. That's
matches.
A lot. That's
wow.
They ran 1,500 matches.
Nonstop.
Nonstop in a 10-hour period. Non-stop. You had 44 schools there. And guess what? All those schools, they pay an admission fee to wrestle, per wrestler.
So what is the admission fee for a school around the
I think in the past we've paid up to $25 per.
Okay, it's not real bad.
I'm saying per wrestler.
Per wrestler. Okay, they're talking some cash, right?
Yeah, so you're talking about it. Say you got 44 teams that bring 10 kids.
So you're talking some money.
You're talking, the money adds up quick.
Hey, what's the steps now you got to take to get this into the Breathitt County High School?
Well, that's kind of our next thing. This is the second year. Last year we got started late, way up into January before we really got kicked off. We didn't know if we could do it or not. Hopefully, we really planned on trying to get this thing rolling last year at the high school, and we didn't get it. We were late, and I get it. So, to me, this year it's very important that we get it while it's hot.
So, it's steps right now, plans being executed to go in front of the school board or however it works to introduce this as a new sport for the high school?
It is. It's kind of a little more detailed than that. Coach Moore, he's got to do some things as an AD. Yes. He's got to, and we did it last year. We just didn't have enough. So basically, the way I understand it, to add a new sport to KHSAA, you have to have a proposal. Yes. And then in that proposal, you've got to have so many of your high school kids and middle school kids.
So it's kind of complicated, right?
Yeah, it's more than just say, hey, we're going to have wrestling.
Right.
So there's some surveys that they've got to get in, and with that, hopefully that'll, stimulate this thing. And
so you have a goal of when it might be a high school sport?
God, I really hope and pray that it is this year, because we had several kids that are moved on to the high school level.
Brady.
They could wrestle, right now.
Does all your kids here to participate in the Lumberjack football program, or some do not?
No, not all of them, but it's a really good. They correlate. They go hand in hand, and a lot of the coaches are Lumberjack, coaches, and they're high school football coaches, right. And they're just great people. So it goes hand in hand. The Lumberjack football as well as the Lumberjack wrestling. We kind of use some of the same principles that we use to jumpstart the football program to do this. Basically, the fundraiser, you had to have a 501c3.
Yes.
We had to go through all those procedures.
But for this to be your second match, and the way it's running smooth.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teamwork involved, a lot of corresponding, a lot of communication.
It is, and we've raised enough money. You want to look at, anytime you want to start a program, you got to look at sustainability.
Yes.
And can this thing sustain itself? And the answer is 100%, 1,000% yes.
It can.
Because, imagine you having 40 kids at the high school. You got a lot of programs at the high school level now with, that don't have the numbers that we see here. And I would love to be able to see these kids in high school, because I think we could really be competitive at a high school level in wrestling.
I always think about Johnson Central, how good they were in football, still are, but also good in wrestling.
They are, and you go back to sustainability, profitability. Can a program sustain itself? In the second year, we're getting ready to buy a brand new mat within 2 weeks, and that's a big deal. This mat here, we drove to Holy smokes,
Columbus.
Yeah, we drove to Columbus last year in the middle of the winter and
How'd you
got
haul
this
it?
thing.
How'd you haul this?
We hauled it. It rolled up into 3 big, ginormous pieces. It probably weighs a ton.
Okay, for those that are kind of used to seeing like the cheerleader match, how they roll up in a ball and then they stand up on their ends. That's kind of how it came in. I was here when they were rolling out the red one, and then they brought the other one in too.
Yes.
But man, it was kind of neat to see that, watch it get put together. It goes together pretty quickly, honestly.
It does. And you can see here, if you're online, you can look at the silver. Those are the seams. Those are where it's seamed together, and you buy a special tape that goes down. The next thing you got to do, like I said, we're going to buy a brand new mat here in 2 weeks.
And what's a brand new mat cost?
Around over $6,000.
$6. Now where you gonna store that?
So
where we store this new mat at? Here?
We're actually, as of right now, it'll be here. Just like this one rolls up, we put it on the stage and kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
And then, they use this facility for all kinds of things, from volleyball to grade school basketball, I'm sure. So
I think the city uses it for their youth basketball sport. So
we've been blessed to be able to even be here, to be honest.
So how will you? When you buy the mat, how are you going to? They ship it here for you?
No, we're going to drive. We're kind of making plans already to drive. This morning, Jeremy and Casey, they sparked an idea. Hey, let's go on to Canton, Ohio, and look at the
Football Hall of Fame.
They got that on their mind.
Them boys are younger than you, Coach. They're younger than you.
They
are.
They sure are. They've got a little more spunk right now than I do.
But you might as well go. You that far up, might as well go.
If I'm with them, I'll be I'll be the ride or die guy.
I got a question for you. I always wonder back in your playing days. Of course, you went to EKU. Where was choice number 2? If you didn't go to EKU, where would you have been? Where would you have signed?
Actually, EKU was number 2.
What was number
crazy. I was given a full scholarship to U of L. Well, I hadn't signed yet, So the crazy.
Glad you didn't go.
Well, the crazy thing was, I went to all their games, all that
U of L.
fall. U of L. Coach Holcomb got me into a camp up there in the summer of 1995 at U of L.
Yeah.
And I have about 40 linebackers, and I was in the linebacker group. I got MVP. So they offered me a scholarship.
Right there on the spot?
Right there, and so I was the guy. I come to all the games, in the locker room, and did all those things, and really had all my eggs in one basket. Well, what happened the day after Christmas was Ron Cooper got fired. So he's gone. He's toasted and he's out. And so the next thing happens is
so everything changes, right?
Yeah, and just like that, boom, your whole plans for all your future are thrown up in the air, and you're scrambling around. And
so what happens now when that happens? You're that late. You committed to them, right?
That's right. I mean, I was ready to go.
So you reopen So you got to reopen your recruitment.
Well, back then there wasn't a whole lot of things like, you see that was reopening recruiting and all those things. It was just basically, I looked around and there was nobody, So on about February the 4th or 6th, somewhere, I remember that, the first week of February, Waylon Chapman was going to go on an official visit to Eastern. And Coach Kidd called Coach Holcomb and said, hey, send that Combs boy with him. And that's kind of all that unfolded. We come around there and he offered me a scholarship, and I looked around and, I enjoyed what I saw and had a good experience. And, from there.
Good career.
Yeah, I was very blessed. And
was EKU even on the radar before Louisville?
Not really. Did
they talk to you?
And not a whole lot. They probably talked to Coach a little bit, but I think they kind of pulled away once they thought I was going to be at that level. And that's okay. But, that's what I tell kids. Don't ever put your eggs in one basket, especially when you're talking about, scholarships.
That's a business, right?
It is. And those guys are here today and gone tomorrow.
And by your senior year, how many Breathitt County Bobcats, former Bobcats, were on that EKU team by your senior year?
Yeah, my senior year, we had 3 guys.
You and Matt Sharp and Waylon, right?
And Waylon, and we had good careers, and But I tell kids all the time that that part of the game is it's not for everybody. My most enjoyable time playing sports was at the high school level.
Oh, was it? Why?
It really was. We just you're with your friends, your best friends, and at that level, you have very few friends. Everybody's out for themselves at a lot of times, and so But that's just life. It teaches you about life. You know, that sport, that college level does, and you've got to work and grind. And it basically it's a full-time job. Full-time job.
Was practice harder at Breathitt or EKU? I've heard collegiate athletes in basketball say, well, my high school practice was tougher than my collegiate practice. Is that the case at EKU?
No, it wasn't. You know, Coach Kidd was an old school guy, and he did a lot of things. When I first started, we had 3-a-day practices. I mean, you're talking about 3 full padded practices, 3 hours at a time, and
3 hours at a time?
At a time in August. So I think we had 18 straight days of practice during summer practices before you ever got a break. And you talk about misery, and, you know, it was really tough.
How was Coach Kidd?
Coach Kidd was if he told you something, he stuck by it. You know, he was brutal at times, but he's brutally honest, and you know, I can't thank him enough for being that way. You know,
hey, Coach, looking ahead to the Breathitt County Bobcat football schedule, is it about complete yet?
Yeah, I think Coach Moore's got most of it in. I think he's waiting on 1 or maybe 2 games to confirm.
I've heard maybe Estill, Powell, Montgomery on that.
Yeah, I think we had toyed with Purry. I don't know if that's going to work out or not. I think he had also talked about Middlesboro, maybe week 1.
Yeah.
You know, which is going to be, you know, anytime you go to Middlesboro and play in their bowl game, they're going to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to try to beat you. And, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, I enjoy watching these wrestling matches, and you can see that excitement right there. You know, it's just the intensity of you know, you got 2 kids that are probably 8 years old, and they're grinding on each other. It's just unbelievable.
It's hard to imagine these young kids at that age being that intense, right?
It is, and it's what I'm saying. So, you know, when you get to coach the 17 or 18-year-olds, you got to have that to be competitive, especially as the deeper you go and the better competition you play. You know, sometimes that's a dividing factor.
Highway 15.
You know, whether they have enough grit to finish the game or not.
I tell you what, it's all about hard and wanting to. And Coach, how many years have you coached at Breathitt? Football.
Gosh, I started in 2001, my first year out of college. I started with Coach Holcomb, and I coached, I think, 7 years or something. And I took a break.
I remember that.
I'll be honest with you. I got out. We started having children. It was time to do something a little different. And I really enjoyed that time with my kids when they were little. Because people don't understand the time that you sacrifice away from your family.
Yeah, when you coach.
I agree.
I mean, people don't realize that. I mean, it's a total. I just talked to Brad Allen here. He's in the crowd tonight. One of our Bobcat greats, and just a great human being, great family man, and won way more state championships than I can put on my hands. You know, and he's been blessed. But I told him, I was like, hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Taking a little break and. You know, he was talking about sacrificing so much time with his family. And,
yes. You know, when you coach at any level, you teach all day at work till 3 or 4. Then you got a 2-hour practice, and you go home at 6. Yeah. You got to do some things at home, and before you know it, it's 9 o'clock. If you got a game that day, look at that, about a 15-hour day.
You do, you know, and, you know, really a 2-hour practice not even getting started, really.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially with football, you got so many things to prep for and to tidy up after practice, and then, you know, dealing with injuries and this and that with kids.
So many kids
so many, you know, and we deal with a lot more than physical injuries. We deal with things they go home to at night.
Of course.
You know, you deal with family problems, and sometimes, you know, you got to be a coach, you got to be a teacher,
a counselor, a buddy too, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, you got to be a father figure to them. You know,
and that's why sports at this level, wrestling at the youth level, high school sports, so important for kids to have that stability with a coach and their teammates.
It is. You know, and there's nothing better than seeing these kids grow up together and compete together at a high level. That's the goal that I have for them, because they're going to remember that. You know, they're going to remember that times when they were in here wrestling and, you know, coach made them do all this crazy workout and almost killed them. And, you know, they thought they were going to die. And
memories are making memories.
Yeah, I mean, that heat, how bad it was, and, you know, and we all survived.
Build something, don't it?
It does. You know, it's just something, you know, special that all kids need, and because, you know, like I say, if you die with with a handful of friends, you'll be very wealthy.
That's right. That's right.
And that's just the way it is. And I know there's plenty of people in my life that I could call on today, and they'd be there.
Well, you helped so many people throughout your playing days and your coaching days. Always that not just football and wrestling, but you're at high school basketball, high school baseball, high school softball. You're visual. You're always around these kids, and they see you.
I just enjoy these young men and women, and and I know that some things that we went through with my family over this last year.
Yes.
With their accident, and it's crazy. You think, well, this kid didn't matter, or that kid didn't matter, and I'm getting messages, and I'm turning around, and there they are. That took time out of their day to come and see me. I had one kid that I coached, and he was there every night.
Right.
That I was there for days and days, till like 3 in the morning. And I'm like, those things are what stick with you,
right.
As a coach, because, those are the kids that appreciate it. And, it's just crazy. And some of my coaches, I turned around and there they are. Teammates, I'll give you a great example. There's a guy named Lester Thorpe that played with me.
Thorpe,
and, probably a name. And he's just a super guy, and just he was just a mauler back in the day, and he would have been great at this. He just had so much physical strength that he was like a bear.
Yeah, big old 6'4" or 5. Yeah.
Man, it's great. He played college football, and I turned around, I've got blood on my shirt, and it's middle of the night, and we're talking about hard night, 3 or 4 a.m. I turn around and there's Lester Thorpe.
Right.
And he gives me the shirt off his back.
Yeah, Lester's good.
And that gives you Coach Hill's thinking about it, don't it?
It does.
The guy gave me the shirt off his back and took my old bloody T-shirt, and just, I'll never forget that.
Right.
And then the next morning I'm showing up and I got, Coach Sparkman. Coach Sparkman was a legend here back in the 90s,
yes.
And just a great man and a teacher here and just a superhuman being. And you turn around and he goes and buys me shoes. I mean, I had no pair of muddy boots on, and in the hospital room for, just stuff like that I'll never forget.
How's your sons doing that? We see them out there, they're officiating, you're all over the mess, look like.
They are. We're just so blessed that, we got all 3 of those kids are here tonight, Ethan, Corey, and Kylan, and it just shows you that your life changes on a Monday night at 6 o'clock,
Yeah, I often thought about that, Coach. It rained that evening.
It did.
And we had a rain. Me and Steve and I were doing the baseball game, and had a rain delay. And I often wonder if it didn't rain and there wasn't no rain delay, what would have happened?
You probably don't, life goes on, but, like I said, your life changes so unexpectedly, and, the things that, a quarter mile out of the high school parking lot, those things don't happen, but they do, and that's just life. And, and when you're dealing with children, very few things are going to happen the way you're playing, but we're just so blessed. All 3 of them are here. They're still recovering, and it'll be a long-term recovery for them. But they're going to have a great, sense of normalcy at life, and their life's going to go on, and hopefully they'll look back and sports was a big part of that. And if they don't get to play again, then they'll be a part of something that's much bigger than themselves.
Right. And that's one thing about life for all of us old athletes. Sports is going to end one day.
That's right.
Sometimes you're 18 or 24, it's going to end for us, right?
That's right. I had that same discussion with Corey, and I was like, he didn't feel like it was over. Hey, I just don't feel like it's over, Dad. That's kind of how he worded it. And I'm like, I get it, but it's going to be over regardless. Even my career was over, and guys that play on Sundays, their careers are over.
Yes, sooner or later.
And so, you got to, that's not what's important. Important are the lessons that you've learned from sports. That's the main part of why we do it as coaches and why they need to do it as players.
Coach, did you have any idea, I asked you this, but the outpouring of fans here tonight, did you have any idea they'd be like this fast?
Yeah, I think this is just scraping the surface here, scratching the surface of how big this thing can be, especially in Breathitt County. People don't realize, but if we go to like I said, I went did I tell you that they had 1,500 matches last week?
Right.
You know, in one day.
Yeah.
And that was over a 3-day period. Now, they had the high school Friday night and Saturday.
Oh, it was multiple levels.
Oh, yeah. So, if I look back at the regional championship last year with wrestling and the youth, there was probably 10,000 people go through that, and hope that could be at Breathitt County High School. We can host a regional tournament.
I was about Coach Allen just mentioned before you come on the air here, his goal is to host an event of that magnitude.
Gosh, and we could do such a great. We could have
2 gyms going.
Yeah, I mean, you could have 2 gyms, kids going between the hallways. I mean, you're talking about I'm talking about like having parking issues in Jackson. That's what we could be dealing with. I know we remember the old days when we played football and there's 7,000-8,000 people there. That don't even compare to what you could see here with a regional event at a high school level. Holy smokes! But the grade schools seem like there are more people there.
Yeah, I noticed in the events I run, the All-Star games, I have better results out of the grade school kids than I do the high school kids. Just because the potential is there, and the potential for the kids to play and expose themselves. And Cal, you mentioned the football games. One of the biggest crowds I ever saw. It wasn't the Mike Holcomb Athletic Complex, then just the Bobcat Field. It was a grid-a-rama. You guys played, and the Leslie County played. It was one of the biggest events I ever saw at Breathitt County High School. You guys, you and Waylon, then Tim Couch playing another game. It was a grid-a-rama. Steve probably remembers this.
Yeah.
Huge crowd in the end zone.
If I'm not mistaken, it was your senior year, Shorty.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was such a huge crowd. How about was that probably the golden time for high school football in the mountains?
I think it was. There was a lot of kids in that in that late '90s era that played high level football.
They sure was.
Lots and lots of them. Heck, one was the number 1 draft pick. Number 1 draft pick with Tim Couch, and there was just so many mountain kids that got opportunities.
John Rader,
EKU,
Matt Sharp, Kentucky State. You had, I think, last year went to Lindsey Wilson, I think. And
you had kids all over the country.
Well, John played at UK. He started on defense there for a year. So
that's just not our program. We're talking about around the mountains. These kids played at Marshalls. They played at, Wofford's. They played at Easterns. They played at Moorheads. They played Louisville's. Look at how many kids played at Louisville. That come out of the mountains. So
it's going to be hard to top.
Western Kentucky, don't leave them guys out. Just so many big-time athletes came out of the mountains during those periods of time. And I think we still have those type of kids, but the game has just changed. They're just these colleges. They're just not going to drive down in deep in the mountains and look for these kids out of these halls.
So you said it's changed. How's it changed?
Well, the recruiting game has changed because now I think it starts.
At younger age.
It does. I mean, it's crazy to say that middle school kids are getting offers, but they are. And they are.
And that started with Lane Kiffin when he was at USC, and everybody, it was just one of the worst things that ever happened. And now it's a common practice.
It's a thing. I've coached this all-star stuff, I've been involved in 20 or 30 games in that, and these kids are offered by big-time programs.
At that young.
At that, in the 7th, 8th grade. I mean, it's, we played against Tennessee one time. We coached against them, and Kylan was playing, and there was 8 kids that had Division I offers, playing in Tennessee. In a youth, in a middle school all-star game. You had 8 or 10 kids that had already been offered. It's just unbelievable, but that is what's happened. And so what parents have to understand is you can't just sit here and wait on them to show up, because you've got to get your kid out here and you got to expose them.
And now with social media, I guess kids have to recruit them, have to be their best advocate for recruiting. They're putting their clips out there, their highlights out there, so the world can see.
It is.
And kind of be their own best representative, right?
It is, and they can't even just wait on a coach to do it. Really, these kids have opportunities to market themselves now. They've got Huddle and all these things, that are tools that are social media tools that they can put out here. But at the end of the day, they've got to have the measurables. The
Yeah.
measurables is a lot of people don't understand. Well, my kid's a great football player or a great basketball player, but if you don't have the measurables, if you don't fit that mold that college coaches need, it doesn't matter how great a player you are. They're looking for people that they can develop.
Right. Potential.
Potential. That's it. And they're looking down the road. I know we said earlier that these colleges now they really want 25-year-olds, and I agree to that. But also if you don't fit that mold, you're not going to play at that level. So every division, every level has its own model, prototype per position that they're looking for.
Takedown.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. What's your thoughts on the transfer portal and NIL money? I know Steve has his thoughts about it. And I know it's changed the game.
It has. I talked to 3 college coaches last week, and one guy was his name's Coach Rico Hughes. He's the guy who puts on the Kentucky Future Stars.
Right.
That our kids participate in, and we've had a lot of our kids participate in that, and they always play Tennessee every year. And he's got a big platform that he's had hundreds and hundreds of kids, and they're well documented. That's played Division I,
right.
At any level. They play a lot of. So basically, the story goes, I called him last week, was talking about some of this crazy stuff and with recruiting, and he's actually an agent.
Right.
So he's getting these kids in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and he makes relationships with them, and he becomes their agents when they get at the pro level.
And hold that thought, guys. While we've got a break in the action here, I'm going to send it for a 2-minute break. Stay right here, Shorty. Want to get back to that in just a moment. Back in 2 minutes. This is WJSN Sports.
Dairy Queen on Highway 15 in Campton is a proud supporter of youth sports. They want you to know they have the best drive-through service with friendly faces and quick drive-through times. You can come get breakfast, lunch, or dinner and finish off with one of our sweet treats. We have many to choose from. Come dine in or carry out at Dairy Queen in Campton or give us a call at 606-668-6363.
Hi, this is Karen Bunn, Director of the Methodist Mountain Mission. Right now, we have more items in our stores than ever before. Our Jackson store is next to the post office. We have stores in Hazard, in West Liberty, and 4 other stores in Southeast Kentucky. Stop by Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 4, and take advantage of huge inventories at low prices. Methodist Mountain Mission Stores. You'll love shopping with us.
Since 1962, Citizens Bank and Trust of Jackson has been proud to serve the community. They care about the people of Breathitt County and are the only locally owned bank in the community. With 2 branches in Jackson and 1 in Beattyville, they're never too far away when you need them. And with the latest innovations in banking, keeping track of your finances has never been easier. Helping to grow Breathitt County as leaders for over 60 years. That's Citizens Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Jim Baker Auto Parts is located behind Goodyear and BP on Highway 15 South in Jackson. There's parking for all vehicles, including 4-wheelers. They carry paint and the store is packed with parts. Also, if a part needs to be ordered, they can do that as well. Jim and Eugene Baker offer great service and are proud to support all local athletes. Come check out Jim Baker Auto Parts and their House of Knowledge.
And welcome back to Van Meter Gymnasium here on the campus of Lee's College. We'll say Lee's College campus of Hazard Community Technical College. You guys were talking recruiting, and while we've got a lull here, it gives us a minute to kind of go over it. A couple of things that's changing. One, lawsuit that was filed, I think maybe last couple of weeks, injunction was granted this week for the quarterback from Vanderbilt to come back and play again next year. He played 2 years of junior college, played 2 years of Division I football, and seeking 2 more years of eligibility for college football. And they're giving him one. They're giving him one right now with the injunction. He could get 2, and also NCAA is considering giving 5 years of eligibility for all sports. Now, That's news that's come out this week.
So
how's that going to change the
play
game?
5 years of college basketball instead of 4.
Yeah.
So that hurts the younger players that want to come up on scholarship because. So Shorty, what's your thoughts on playing 7 years of college football and now the 5-year eligibility rule? Is it going to stop? Will they put a salary cap on this NIL?
I think if you listen to Coach Saban talk, I think he realized that a long time ago that this was becoming a problem.
Oh man,
probably why he's not coaching anymore. But yeah, it's really cut out so many high school athletes because now they can't get a shot. And to me, like I said earlier, they want 25-year-old men that are already developed. So you're going to have the whole team. I think I saw at Notre Dame had just about their whole defensive roster there were fifth-year guys. But it had all been in transfer portals and portaled in. So what that does is that cuts out all of our high school kids that are 18.
It does.
17-year-old because they're not looking at those guys anymore. They're looking at guys right now because I know this for a fact because one of my teammates, he's the defensive coordinator at Eastern. He's like, we've got to have guys that play right now. We can't even focus anymore on developing.
So you can't get on potential, can you? So you have to have kids ready to, I guess young men ready to roll.
You do. I mean, and you've got to be, the fortitude that it takes to play 1 year of college sports. Imagine trying to play 5, 6, 7 years.
But Shorty, how about the kids' transcripts trying to graduate from the college degree? When you transfer schools, sometimes you lose credit hours. Yeah. So how about the main thing really should be education?
It should be.
So what happens then when you keep transferring and losing credits? And
I think you're going to see hundreds of thousands of kids get out of school and still not have any degrees. And they've been basically a pro athlete for years. And I just pray that somewhere along the line that they've had somebody give them some good guidance.
Yeah.
Whether it be money or educational.
Or both.
Both. And, that they hopefully finish what they started. And that's what, like I was talking earlier about one of my friends and coaches, that's doing this. He's an agent, like I said, and he said, hey, I don't know what it's teaching kids anymore because, if they just leave because somebody
it's hard,
it gets tough, or do they leave because somebody offers them a little more money? I don't. He said, I don't know how it teaches anybody to finish what they started, and that's one of the main problems right now with the portal.
With the kids transferring all over the country in the college basketball, what's that say for high school sports?
Well, I mean, it's cutting out so many kids. It's taking away their opportunities because if they're not an upper level 4- and 5-star athlete, they're just not getting a chance anymore. And that's like I said earlier, you've got it. If you're in the mountains, you have really got to promote your kid as a parent, and you've got to take them to these camps and get them noticed and get them in somebody's back pocket, that believes in them, and hopefully and pray that somebody will give them an opportunity.
But Shorty, if they're watching UK, Notre Dame, whatever, these football programs, and you got kids, the roster constantly changing. So the high school kids say, well, if I can play at this school for one season, and Coach Combs gets on to me, well, I can transfer to another school and get eligible. So what's it teaching our young kids not to stick around when things get tough? They want to bail.
That's right, and really the whole goal of athletics is to teach kids life lessons and, see them battle through adversity. And right now, I don't see that, especially at times. I think it's the easy way out is just to jump ship and move on down the line and start new. It's kind of like the video game mentality, Hey, if I'm losing pretty bad here,
reset
I just hit reset. I rage quit and move on.
Reset.
So maybe that's the world that we're dealt with, and we've got to figure out a way to overcome that.
So, Steve, what do you think about the eligibility with all the extra years now? And UK basketball, their roster is full of kids that's played 3 different colleges.
Absolutely.
And I know Coach Pope has to do that because he has to compete, too, with Tennessee and Arkansas and SC Florida in the morning. I know why he's doing it, because he's got to have a team right now, like you said, 24-year-olds ready to play.
That's right.
So, Steve, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thought on that is that's exactly why you've seen a coach like John Calipari, Hall of Famer, great recruiter, struggle. That's why you've seen Nick Saban retire,
How about
and he's admitted as much.
Jim Larinaga from Miami last week, he retired, the Hall of Fame basketball coach at Miami.
What's his name at Virginia? Also,
Coach Bennett.
Yeah, also retired due to that kind of stuff. But looks like we're getting into the older groups, especially on the far mat there.
So, Shorty, what are we watching right now here? We've got the older kids.
Yeah, we've got that's just kind of their upper-level middle school group. They're probably 13, 14. I think 15 is the cutoff mark to those middle school groups. And you can really, man, these kids pound the mat, and it's brutal. It really is to watch kids, and it's crazy. You got kids that are bleeding.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, them floor burns, but are rough.
I'm talking about nose.
Yes.
And guess what? They go off the mat. They take what's called a blood timeout.
Right.
And basically they go stick a plug in their nose and clean them up and clean the mat, and they start all over again.
So, Coach, how long do they get between each minute round?
30 seconds, 15.
Long.
No, it's a grind. For us, the next phase of this will be the conditioning part of it.
So how does that work? How you condition for this?
A lot of it's not like weight room type fitness like you see with football pros and basketball guys. They'll do like farmers carries and wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Carry each other, and they go like a wheelbarrow rows, and they do a lot of body weight, flips and contortions with their body and balance stuff and push-ups, sit-ups, all that core. And that's really where every sport starts, is in that core.
Right. When's your projection for your last wrestling match of the season? When's it going to end up?
It usually wraps up about the end of January. Then it'll be like a big regional event, and then from there, if they place a certain, you may even have to have first place to move on to the to Louisville. That's where the big the state competition is, and then after that they do something I think it's called folk wrestling, where if you want to continue wrestling, the rules of the game is a little bit different. I think that's what it's called, folk, and it's a little more wild. They're flipping and throwing each other up in the air, and just kind of like it's a version of this, but it's a little more uncontrolled, I think. It's probably a little more fun to watch, to be honest.
So when the season's over, will you give them some time off before you get back at it?
Well, yeah, with us, we're just getting started. Hopefully when we get this over with, we're going to try to get our youth kids together and maybe put them in a weight room and worry about, kind of go into, conditioning mode for, weight training, speed, agility. That's kind of what I hope to do with them. I'm going to try to do some things like we used to with the Lumberjacks and the middle school groups and try to get some, we might not be able to get all of them, the young kids, but if you're a 5th and 6th grader, or going to be in the 5th or 6th grade, or even the middle school, then I would kind of like to get a hold of them and give them a taste of what they get to do at the high school level, training-wise.
Well, the excitement's evident here with the kids and the turnout this evening, and the nice crowd here, and the plans are hopefully to have us into a high school sport sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's my dream, to see this at the high school level and us have male and female participants at the high school level, because it's the fastest growing sport right now in the mountains, probably in the state of Kentucky, probably across the nation.
When does the high school season run?
Well, a lot of times it starts about mid-October.
So you got football there too, then, right?
It does, but you don't have a whole lot of overlap there. A lot of times these football kids, they can come out and kind of transition pretty quick, but it kind of follows similar to the basketball schedule, but it's over a little bit quicker. It's not a year-round thing unless you want it to be. You can go to tournaments all over the country if you want to, just like AAU basketball.
Same thing, right?
It is. I mean, you can do whatever with this, and it's not team. You know, you can get away from the team and you can go wrestle individual all over the country. I've got one of my best friends and roommates in college. He lives in South Carolina, and his boy's a teenager, and they wrestle all over the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just crazy. Places they go, and you just gotta love it, and you gotta want to compete.
So how did you put this together, this event today?
Well, Coach Moore Coach Moore really handles all administrative stuff.
When you say Coach Moore, be specific.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of Coach Moores.
A lot of Coach Moore
around
here. A lot
of
cousins.
Coach Jeremy Moore is the head of the snake, to be honest. And he's handling most administrative duties, and he's kind of our Rob Houndshell when
right.
we talk about
I like
the
Rob.
Lumberjacks. Yeah, so he's kind of doing those things. He's ordering and purchasing the things that we got to have. He's kind of organizing, the concession stand. Casey's helping keeping the kids involved. He's doing a social media platform. That's kind of his role. But he also coaches, and Jeremy coaches. But then you talk about, our main coach is Kevin Hernandez.
Hernandez.
We're just so blessed to have him. He's a high school teacher here. He came in, I think, 3 years ago.
Right.
And he had wrestled in high school. He's from Florida. He brings something to the table that we just don't have in experience in coaching, and he could do a great job at a high school program, build a high school program. He could do that, and
right,
and really build it from the ground up, because that's the only way that's what he's got. He's got to start from the ground up. And the crazy thing about it, we've already raised enough money to buy a $6,000 mat. We got 2 mats now. That's not even, that's not a program starter anymore. That's already done.
So your program has pretty quickly took root and held on here. We got Coach Hernandez on the world famous Sports Talk about 2 months ago. He did a phenomenal job in the interview, but you can tell the passion and the knowledge of this sport, and a lot of us don't know yet, like we're learning, but he's got a leg up on us on this.
He does. I mean, he's just great with kids. He's a great family man. His wife is a teacher at Hazard High School. I think she's at the grade school level. But they're just great people, and we're blessed to have them here in our Breathitt County school system. And he could do a great job and take this thing and just take off running with it.
I'm sure this will be at the high school level, Coach. The enthusiasm, Steve Neese is too great not for it to advance up to the high school level. But like you said, Coach Moore, it's a lot of technical things he has to do with KHAA to get this going to the next level. I'm sure Coach Moore will get that done.
And I think Coach Holcomb, he's starting to buy into it. He's very curious. He came to our first event, and he's like, wow, where'd all these kids come from? I'm like, they're everywhere. I mean, we just got to pull them out of these hollers and stuff. And we got kids that are just amazing, the grit and determination that they have. And they're just fun to watch. And he saw that, and he's like, man, this is exciting.
It is exciting, and it's good to give every kid an opportunity to, like you said earlier, some kids don't like football, basketball, baseball, but maybe they like wrestling.
Yeah.
Or maybe the girls like volleyball. It's give them every opportunity to be the best version of themselves. Mr. Damon Moore right here. Damon Moore, a good friend of ours. but I tell you, give every kid every opportunity to be the best version of themselves.
That's right. And it's just a sport that just ties all the other sports together. That's the crazy thing about it. And, I can just see this thing flourishing, and being really very likely could be the biggest sport in the mountains in 5 years, to be honest.
And there's something to say about individuals playing. It's a team sport, it is, but it's not.
It is, so, guess what? Everybody gets to play.
Yep.
That's the thing we deal with now in coaching is not everybody gets to play, and that's, and that's just life. But here, if little Johnny is not coming to practice, he wants to come and wrestle, get his tail kicked, that's fine. But, that's part of it. But so mommies and daddies are pretty open to the fact that, hey, Johnny got beat, but guess what? Johnny's not been to practice.
So they cannot hide Johnny anymore.
No,
You can't blame Coach Combs.
You can't. No.
You got to blame Johnny, right?
That's right.
Or sometimes Jill. Depends.
That's right. So that's the great thing that I see, and to me, it's good because it's good for parents. It's good for me to see my kids lose, and then get up and do it again.
Because you got to handle.
That's
you
right.
got to handle winning, but you got to handle losing. You got to handle both, right?
I'm not worried about what you do when you win. I want to know what you're going to do when you lose.
How you going to respond?
That's right. And this right here teaches you. I mean, and they may make one mistake. One mistake and get beat. You make 1,000 mistakes in a football game and still win.
And recover.
And still recover and find a way to win. Yeah, you can do that, especially if all the guys are in. But here, it's on you. And, there ain't no hiding.
There's no backups, are they?
No.
When you lose a tackle or miss a shot or throw the ball away, there's nobody to back you up, are they? It's just on you.
It's on. That's right. That's why I like track too. It's just another.
Now, didn't you run track in high school?
I was a track guy too, and it's me against you, and you can't point any fingers.
Right.
If I make a mistake, I lose. If I'm not as good as you, I lose. So it's just.
What was your sport? What was your specialty in track?
I was a sprinter, and I threw shot put, and those guys. We had a really good. There was a really good track program. Coach Sparkman done a really excellent job back in the '90s with the track program, and he had a lot of kids involved, and we had a lot of kids that placed, and he had some state champions, multiples.
And that helped with the football field too.
Absolutely.
Just like this is what's going to help later on.
And then the crazy thing, guys, that when you're really good in sports, you know what you're also really good in? You're really good in academics.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
I was going to say live.
Well,
But it all ties in.
It ties together. Everything correlates. The better you are, and the more pride you take in, being a great athlete, a better player, and having a great team, that carries over to what you're going to do in the classroom. It is very, it relates tremendously. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's not in every case.
Right.
With every kid and whether you look at a group.
Overall,
guess what? They're going to be pretty daggone good in the classroom too, because they take pride in what they're doing.
and pretty good school citizens too. Not getting any trouble.
That's right.
They're going to behave themselves. Okay, it's reflection on that blue and white, that Bobcat uniform.
It is. I had a guy that called me today, and that was today, and he thanked me. It wasn't even his kid; it was his nephew.
Right.
And he said, "Thank you for what y'all did for my kid, because he wouldn't be where he's at today if it wasn't for high school football."
Well,
and that happened today.
Well, like Frank Little, the young man I have raised, you help get him through school.
That's right.
The things that you do that you probably don't realize that you do, helping these kids trying to get through school, to go to a trade school or whatever, right?
Yeah. We all want them to just be, our main
Successful.
goal is, that's right, and success is viewed a lot of different ways with in people's eyes. But if you're a great father, I think you're very successful.
Hey, do you miss teaching?
I do. I really enjoy teaching. I think I taught 22 years in the classroom, but there was a time when I needed to do something different, and I got out a little early and try to do something that benefits my children someday.
Right. But 22 years is a long time in education.
It is. It's a long time, and but I'm still involved with kids, and hopefully, I'm going to go back down to the Lumberjack group and do a little more with those guys, and see this next class of kids come back through. And
I say you'll always be around the high school or football programs.
Yeah, we're just, these guys are just such much of a family, our coaches they're all great men, they're all great people, and we're just blessed to have some good people working with our children. We really are. I don't think you get this everywhere.
No, you don't.
And we take it for granted sometimes, but I've been around some people coaching all-stars and things sometimes, and been around people that
different priorities, maybe?
They have different priorities, and they're very different than what we are. And
well, Breathitt County is very lucky to have you, both Coach Morris, Kyle, and Jeremy,
Sure,
Coach Allen, your sons. Coach Franklin, just a group of really just a big Bobcat family trying to help these young men and women be the best versions of themselves.
Well, we've had that for years here. It's not just about me and what I've done, but we've been blessed to have great coaches here for many, many years, and I know I wouldn't be here without them, and that's why I really appreciate what they do, because
Coach, you have any idea how many schools are represented here today?
I think we have 5.
Five
I think we have 5, and they're even all the way from West Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Mingo or Nitro
Chapmanville.
or Chapmanville.
You got
Gotcha.
Chapmanville, Perry, of course, Breathitt with the Lumberjacks, Paintsville, and Floyd, if I'm not mistaken.
Floyd, yeah.
And there might have been one from Pikeville. Was there one from Pikeville?
There's a couple kids here from Pikeville. See, Brad Allen's wife started their Pikeville program.
Oh,
this
really?
year. Yeah. Last year, Brad's boy, Hudson, he wrestled with the Lumberjacks.
Right.
He sure did. And he's just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal wrestler. And Gatlin Allen has took it on, and they're just fun to watch, As they get older and get more experience, they're going to be really good.
And it also means Pikeville football will be pretty good, too, with them wrestlers on that side. But
it
look
is.
at that Class A, though.
It
You don't have
is.
to face them unless you scrimmage them.
That's right, and I'm sure sometime in our lifetime you'll see us be a 1A program. And
I was about to get ready to ask that question. I've been reading and listening a lot. The Breathitt Bobcats, hard to believe, Coach, but pretty close to being a Class A. Am I right?
that's right. I mean, we're right on the cusp of number-wise, and and
that changes everything on
does.
your RPIs, on your schedule, right?
Well, and then this year, of course, they're telling them they can't play up anymore. Belfry's been playing up into 3A the last several years, forcing them back down into their true size, which is Class 2A. They drop into District 8 this year with all the redistricting and everything going on.
True.
As we've got 2 matches going on at the same time, we'll split screen that on the YouTube channel. But, yeah, I mean, of course, when you get into these other sports, and when I say other sports, I'm talking outside of what people say, baseball, basketball, softball, all that. These regions become different regions because not every school has it. You're tied in, and you were talking about maybe hosting a regional tournament. What region and what schools would be in a regional tournament here if we were to host?
Well, I don't think when we talk about regions, it's not like what we see in, or 14th and, all those things like we see talk about a lot in basketball and football. But, it's pretty much our east. You got kids from Johnson Central, Bell, Greenup, Bath maybe.
Be kind of familiar with soccer when Jackson City got in soccer, that odd-looking region. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, very. And it's going to encompass a lot of schools, a lot of counties, and it's just a massive event. But facility-wise, man, we've got a 10 times better facility than what the ones where we were at last year.
Yeah.
We've got space, we've got parking, we've got multiple gyms, we've got bathroom facilities. We've got facilities.
And Coach, to have 2 gyms on one campus is we're very lucky. We don't realize how lucky we are to have that auxiliary gym. We used to call it the new gym.
Yeah.
That gym there is as nice as most schools' regular high school basketball gym.
Very, very much so. We're just so blessed that the work that Coach Moore and our board members and our superintendent.
But Coach James Talbot Turner, Coach Holcomb laid the foundation. The guys before they all laid the foundation to get things started for us.
Man, we are so blessed. When you get out and travel around to these other districts and see what they have, and like, wow. Now with their new complex, a football complex, training complex, holy smokes. I mean, it's top of the line. I mean, I'm talking about you take in the Boyles, the teams, the perennial powerhouses across this state. I mean, our facilities rival anybody's. And we're just so blessed that that we have those things, and there's been a lot of hard work and sacrifice put into those. You know, it's been a hard.
Well, since the flood and everything destroyed.
It has been a hard since 2000, since COVID.
Since COVID, yeah.
Since COVID, it has been a challenge. Everything in coaching has been a challenge, and then we go through 2 floods, and then we go through a reconstruction here at the high school and a remodel at the football complex and tearing down facilities. And
it's been a challenge.
It has been tough, and Coach Moore and our staff and our administration has done an excellent job, and our kids, man, you know.
And Coach, we got on the other side there, we got a young lady.
Yeah,
I think she's tough as nails, it's like to me.
She is. You know, I just sat there and watched my son, Kenton, which is just turned 11, and it was all he could do to tame this wild young lady there that he was wrestling.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We've seen a few of them today, and they've done very well, honestly.
Yeah, and man, and these small ones, what you get, guys, these small, you know, local events where we just, we call them duels. It's kind of the terminology that's used. You get more work done at a duel like this than you did at a big tournament, because you may be there 10 hours and wrestle 2 times.
A lot of downtime.
Yeah, but what you also see with these duels is one of the problems is there's not enough females, so a lot of times they end up wrestling the boys.
Yeah.
And
does the boys matter?
And it matters to them because they don't want to get beat by a girl. But these girls are really good.
Yeah, and usually girls are stronger earlier than boys, right?
That's right. So the boys are almost at a disadvantage in this age group because they're behind the 8 ball.
Yes, they are. They got to win. They got to win.
And guess what? I'm sure Monday morning at the school,
if they get beat, they had to lick, ain't they?
They've got a hard road to hoe for sure.
Talk about a fun environment, though, Coach. Hopefully you can have another event like this before the season winds up. I know a lot of strategic planning that goes on, but hopefully you can have maybe a couple more, at least one more before the regional tournament.
Yeah, that's our goal. If we do one more of these, this will get us through and over the hump from buying the mat that we had to have, and that'll get us financially to where we can sustain this program.
Some leverage.
And that's right. We got some wiggle room, and our goal is to, when we go to these tournaments, that we can pay a team fee.
Right.
As of last year, if you went to these tournaments, parents were paying for not only a fee to play on the team, but they were having to pay their admission fees because we were starting from scratch.
Yeah, and they understood that, though.
And they did, and they did a great job. But now we're to the point where we're going to be able to focus on more events, pay kids way in and out, and they can compete more and gain much more.
And hopefully,
experience.
like we said earlier, maybe not this year, but next year, a regional tournament type. We have 2 gyms going. Get that in the works too.
Yeah, I think 3 weeks ago, Belfry hosted kind of a regional event, a small series regional event, and they've got another one coming up called the Bobblehead. Bobblehead tournament.
Right.
Coach may have mentioned some of it, but they may be 14, 15, 20 schools there.
Right.
And you're talking about an event, and you could do that with our facility multiple times a year.
Yeah, and you do that, Coach. You talk about the downtime of some kids at big events, not just wrestling twice in 10 hours, but at the Breathitt County High School with multiple gyms, kids get multiple work, a lot more work.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping, we're kind of we're in a pickle, really, location-wise.
Right.
Because of what you see here, a lot of these schools are farther and deeper east of Jackson. Okay, so we're kind of in the middle now in a lot of ways. So we're hoping that this is going to catch on, to more central part of the state, close to us.
Right.
So we don't have to drive to Pike County, Floyd County, to do an event. When we travel, we could. If we can get some more teams that way, we could actually start a new.
You be the central between Pikeville and Lexington. You be in the middle.
That's right, and we could pull those teams in because we could be in Lexington by the time we can be in Pikeville.
Same thing.
And around the mountains, you get accustomed to driving anyway. Heck, we drive an hour to see a movie.
That's right. That's right.
And so if we can get Estels and Powells and
we should get Owlsies and Lees involved too.
Lees. If you could get more of those places involved, and even London and that region, they're getting cranked up over there too.
Yeah, in this type of sport, there's a lot of sports where the bigger the school, the more advantage you have. Obviously, the startup cost with the mat and that kind of thing. But once you're in, the size of the school really isn't going to be advantage or disadvantage.
That's right.
Small schools can be as successful as the big schools.
That's right.
Just like golf, right?
Yeah, exactly. Golf and to an extent volleyball and things like that. But, a lot of those other sports, though, the bigger the schools, the more advantage they have. But these sports, it's more individualized, it'd be advantageous for those small schools to get in. It's just more opportunities for the kids, which is really what everything is about. It's about getting as many offerings as you can for the kids to allow these kids to succeed and be the best version of themselves. And, you talked about the adversity and grit and all that comes with this earlier. Sport and these types of sports really lead to that, to lead beyond school, beyond sport. When your playing days are over, competing days are over, those are the things you take away. And again, if you can offer that at a small school, do it.
Absolutely. The startup for this program is pennies to the dollar on what most athletic programs will be, and there's no overhead. You can compare sports, and there's no comparison. With the cost that it takes to, support and to run, a wrestling program.
Oh, yeah, because there's no buses involved for transportation.
Overhead. There's no overhead.
Football, basketball, it's a ton of overhead, but now this is not.
No.
And so it's a cheaper sport for the high school to maintain.
It is. Obviously, our goal would be to have this place, have a mat somewhere at Breathitt County High School, or one of our gyms, and that becomes, transforms maybe after football season.
So this will be a year thing.
To me, I would love to see this somewhere. This mat, the old brown mat, put somewhere in a facility at Breathitt High School. And it stays there. We don't have to roll it up. You can now transform that space into a safe space. If you're close to a wall, you put some mats down the wall.
Right.
And that's where you go in.
That's your complex.
And that's your complex. That's where you do your grinding. You grind on them and you work them, and that's right after school. You could have a time frame for your high school guys right there. In 30 minutes, you have this group come in, and 30 minutes there. You could really set this up and have a mat time. You could have a conditioning time over here.
Right.
You could have a weight program type over there. You could have 3 stages of a wrestling practice.
Yeah, it's like 3 stations going on at the same time.
And just rotate them around, and holy smokes.
Talk about time efficiency too. Get them in, get them out.
You can, and parents don't show up to 5 o'clock to pick them up.
Yeah.
Nobody has to be out at night, late in the evenings every night, because that's what kills parents.
Oh, they work all day and they're wore out.
Yeah, and then you got to go home and get
supper fixed, whatever.
Try to get something fixed and get something to build and to bring them back to practice and wait on them.
That's a killer.
So there's so many possibilities that we have here that
the other schools don't have.
That's right. Most of these guys will tell you they don't practice till 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
There's these. I'm like, what?
Well,
how do you get them? There?
Well, it's just gym time when they get gym space available, right?
So we're blessed with opportunities and facilities to be able to do that with kids.
I'll tell you what, I pulled in here tonight, couldn't find where to park at. I had to park behind the building right over here. And, Coach, I tell you, I'm just glad that we've got invited to come up here. Old Steve Nace talked about this last week, how we had to get one of these matches in before the weather started.
That's right.
And I'm just so glad that the weather held off so we can get up here, right, Steve?
Yeah, and again, it was the last one on the schedule. Now they may have another one to pop up down the road, but wanted to make sure with our other schedules, with other sports that we cover, this is something that a lot of people don't get a lot of opportunities to watch, and we can get this out there, get the publicity for all these kids. I know we haven't really went play-by-play, point-by-point with these matches. This is not a tournament-style meet. It's what they refer to, you've called it a few times, just duels. And basically what you're doing is you're just trying to get these kids in, get them some mat time, as they call it, and get them the experience, really, of competing against the other schools, see what they need to work on before they really get into those tournament-style events.
That's right. Last weekend, you had 10 mats, guys. You had 10 of these mats on the floor at the arena at Pikeville. You had 10 mats. One mat was double, or 2 mats were doubled up. So you had 12 matches going at all times.
That's a lot of kids involved.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And you're talking about a roar inside of that arena that you just don't hear. You might get that in a regional tournament, in a basketball game, but holy smokes, we're talking about for 8 hours. You get this type of environment, and that's just
I want to give my headset to Jeremy here. Coach Moore, let him speak a minute.
He can have mine, guys. He really can. No, let him have mine. I need to do some things and help out a little bit.
Coach Combs, thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Coach Jeremy Moore, he's kind of heading this up. I don't know if they refer to him as the head coach or if there's multiple head coaches. I'm not sure how that's working out. Jeremy, good to have you on here.
Thank you.
Coach Moore, I'll call you correctly. And we've kind of talked a whole lot, not necessarily about each individual match, but more about the program tonight and the opportunities that this program allows these kids who maybe didn't have other things or other sports they could get into. Kind of give us a rundown of really how you got started. What really got you into this?
Well, I would go back probably pre-flood, right? So before, summer 2022, me and Shorty's talked, me, Shorty, Casey, we've all, we've wanted to do this for a while. And our plan was to get started in 2022. The flood kind of set us back, and, some things came up and we didn't follow through with it. But the next year, we decided to go ahead with it, and we all met, and Kelvin Hernandez, teacher, these middle school teachers at school, at Breathitt Middle. He's our quote-unquote head coach.
Okay.
He's our wrestling guy. He met with us. We sat down, came up with a plan. My role is really the administrator. I get all these kids registered, get them insured through USA Wrestling. We get set up with these tournaments. Kelvin's the coach. Casey, he runs our social media, everything on social media platforms, sponsorships. He does all that stuff. Everybody pitches in, does their thing, and once we got rolling, everything just kind of fell into place for us that first year, and we've been fortunate and blessed ever since.
And if you want to, the match here on the near side, that's the brown mat on the YouTube channel. If you're watching it, kind of give us a rundown as they do this. That way we can kind of let the fans really understand what's happening.
So the gentleman here with the red ankle bracelet on, blue singlet, is Paintsville. This other young man with the green ankle bracelet on and the camo singlet is from Floyd County. They just started their round here from neutral. The Floyd County kid just scored a takedown on the Paintsville kid. He has him in near fall, which means one half of the back, so you just got to fall there. So he got a pin, which ends the match. So near fall is whenever half of the opponent's back is on the ground, one shoulder, and the referee will count whenever he's in near fall. If he counts to 3 and the opponent on the ground is able to escape or raise back up, he'll get 3 points for that. If he counts to 4, 4 points. If he counts to 5, 5 points. 5 would be the total there if he would have stayed near fall. So the kid from Floyd County there got the win by pin.
Okay, and on the mat going on, of course, they just got a point, so they'll stand up and reset. And I know people want to talk about professional wrestling. That's what you think of when you hear the word, well, they're going to end that match over there. But how many professional wrestlers, two off the top of my head, started out as what quote-unquote amateur wrestlers, NCAA champions, gold medalists. Two gold medalists became big-time professional wrestlers. Kurt Angle won. And the other one's still wrestling right now, Chad Gable. And Brock Lesnar, if I'm not mistaken, NCAA champion.
That's right.
Yeah, he was NCAA champion.
Rick Steiner back in the day, NCAA champion.
Yes, he does.
You know, and
So-
it's without knowing much about wrestling, like you would think, well, these guys must be just unbelievably physical, whatever. I went back and watched Brock Lesnar's his national championship match since learning wrestling myself, and he won 3-0 on 3-2 on escape points. Is all it was. It wasn't him being the aggressor. It was him being able to evade the opponent. So, or being able to escape the opponent's.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just little things you
But
pick up as you
winning,
learn.
though. But he's still winning.
Yeah, he won it, and he didn't have to be on. He just played defense.
Right.
You know.
A lot of sports are that way. There's different ways to win. A lot of people think you have to score a lot of points in any sport. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Runs, points, doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
I think you have to do that. Sometimes you get one and you play defense, play exceptional defense, you win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is, as you say, it's no different.
Yeah. And the thing about wrestling that I didn't understand, early on was you can be winning here. You can be up 4, 5, 6 points on somebody and make a mistake and lose. And then you have to get up and do it again in a few minutes. It makes.
So you got to recover pretty fast, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You got to rebound pretty
And
fast.
I'm sure you've seen it tonight. It devastates these kids when they lose
Oh, yeah,
like this.
100%.
Like it is crushing.
And their
to them.
parents.
Oh yeah, and then they have to get back up and have to wrestle again. And this is a dual setup here that we're doing. We're just kind of going down the roster about trying to match kids up by age and weight. These tournaments, which we just went to one at Pikeville last week, the Hatfield McCoy. Those you're placed in a bracket within your weight class, and you lose one match, you're out of the championship bracket, and you're put in the consolation bracket.
So double elimination, pretty much.
Basically, you're never going to get to work your way back in the championship bracket.
You never get
Consolation.
back.
Yeah,
Okay.
you go to the consolation
All right.
bracket, and if you lose twice, you're done for the day. It's just.
So in that type of setup, is there also the team totals, or is that a different type of tournament?
No, they'll count team totals. That's where your podium finishes are. Is in these tournaments in your weight brackets. They'll usually podium first through fifth place. But every match that every kid is in, there's an opportunity to earn points for your team. You get points for falls, which are pins. You get points. If you win by points, you're earning points for your team, victories, all that. So. And then they'll calculate the team scores at the end of it by points, by pins, by you name. I mean, there's several categories you can place in tournaments.
Coach, I talked to both Coach Steve and I talked to Coach Combs and Coach Allen. The hopes are to have this as a high school sport real soon, and also maybe host a regional event like this next year at the Coliseum.
We would love to do that. We. Whenever that opportunity arises, we want to be prepared. We've purchased a new mat. This is our mat here in front, this brown one with the large M in the middle of it. A little backstory to that. I found this mat on Facebook Marketplace.
So was you just searching for mats?
Yeah, found it on Facebook Marketplace for $800. All right, this is a 36 by 36 competition mat. And me and Shorty drove to Cleveland, Ohio, and picked this thing up.
So what that tells me is the M stands for more, right?
It might.
Yeah, the wrong color, but he'll do, right?
Yeah, we've got our money's worth out of that. So,
that's all right.
We've ordered a new mat, a new competition mat. It should be ready within the next week or two, and then we're working to gain funds to purchase another new mat. So we want to have two. I mean, it takes two mats to do what we're doing here, obviously.
We eventually have the Breathitt County over on the next the middle school has a back and hitting cage now. Will you eventually have a facility like that where you can wrestling?
I mean, who knows what'll happen down the road, but possibly, I mean, if we can just get the sport started here,
Right.
I think it's a great opportunity for kids. We've said all along, there's 15 jerseys on the basketball team. I mean, it's winter. Like there's other things these kids need to be doing other than,
Well, everybody don't play football or basketball.
Right. Yeah. This is another opportunity. I mean, you look here. We probably got, I would say, 70 kids here competing tonight.
I'd say at least.
And everybody competes. I mean, everybody's going to wrestle at least 2 matches here. There's no. He didn't get, but my child didn't play enough minutes.
Not tonight, though.
Right. Everybody's getting an opportunity. And whether they do good or bad, I mean, that's, is this kid put out effort in practice? Has he missed practice? It's on you.
Yeah,
at this point,
football, basketball, baseball, team sport here, it's pretty well individual. So they cannot hide if they didn't come to practice or didn't give their best, right, Steve?
Absolutely.
That's right. Of course, you talk about high school, middle school teams. I know you've got kids that are elementary age here. If it gets into the high school, middle school, would you go keep the Lumberjacks at the elementary level? Would you push that in the spot? I know there's things outside your control on that, but what's the kind of the plan and the hope there?
We've got several middle school kids here. I know, I don't want to get it wrong, but I want to say we've got at least 7, 8 middle schoolers down there right now competing, which they're going to compete in the regions in a couple weeks to qualify for the state tournament.
Okay.
They can stay in Lumberjacks, but they can also compete in high school.
All right, okay.
And the way that'll work, there'll be a JV squad. You'll have your 12 weight classes for the high school, and you'll have 1 wrestler per weight class.
Okay.
And then, if you put your best kids in there, the rest of them can wrestle JV, or they can stay in the Lumberjacks and compete in the middle school stuff that we're doing with them. So that's the neat thing about wrestling is 7th through 12th grade can wrestle high school, and 4th through 8th grade can wrestle middle school.
Well, that's, I learned something. Glad I asked that question.
Good question. Good question.
Yeah.
And good answer.
This was all brand new to me last year.
Right.
I mean, they told me some of this stuff, and it's like, I couldn't believe. Some of it's just so foreign.
Right.
You wouldn't think a 4th grader competing in a middle school sport,
But they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I talked to Coach Allen watching the youngsters wrestle. The intensity these young men and women perform at and compete at. I mean, they're in it to win it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of aggression, that these kids are experiencing at a young age. That, there's no other opportunity for that. I mean, I'll tell you this too. You would be surprised at how well this helps these kids' confidence.
Oh gosh.
Their ability to defend themselves. So we got a wrestler here on this team. I won't mention his name, but he was getting kind of picked on at school by a kid larger than him.
Yeah.
And he was getting picked on. The kid started fighting with him, and he was able to take the kid to the ground and control him till the teacher was able to come break the fight up. So this helped that kid, and he's not going to get that anywhere else.
So the confidence that he learned by just practice and
skill,
And how about this match right here? This young man here.
See, he's in near fall, and they just got a pin. See, and these kids, they nobody likes to lose, and it's hard for these kids to go out there and experience that. But it's really good for them. It's humbling, and you got to be able to bounce right back because that kid's probably gonna wrestle again here in a few minutes.
Yeah, you can tell the emotions on these young men that they really want to win, and it hurts when they get beat, but they got to bounce back real fast because they got another match.
Yeah, he could be on the mat here in just 5 minutes. It's just it's really good because you have a bad time, bad day, or whatever at work or in life or what but you still gotta work. You still gotta wake up the next day. I mean, this is really good life lessons.
And too, Coach, these kids here, if they lose a match early, they can rebound pretty quickly and win 1 or 2 in a row to not end on a bad note.
Right.
And Coach, another thing too, just the fans' enthusiasm and the waitress here and the parent support. this is going to be a big-time sport for Breathitt County in the future.
I mean, this what we've got going on here tonight's great. You know, we've got probably 200 spectators, 70 kids probably competing. The Hatfield-McCoy we just went to, I forget the exact numbers, but there was over 500 kids competed that day.
Man.
And they had over like 1,300 matches somewhere in there. There's over 1,000 matches in a day. You know, it was great. It was in the Appalachian Marlis Arena. There's some of the pictures we posted on our Facebook page.
And Coach, too, for just fans that are new to the sport, when you come watch these events, it's nonstop.
Oh yeah.
Your head's on a swivel watching all the action. So there's nonstop wrestling.
Yeah, once the match is finished, they're over here. They're trying to get 2 more kids ready to go, and we're right back at it. You know, it's
Are you pretty pleased with the inaugural season and year number 2? Are you pleased with the progress?
We keep getting a lot of interest in this. You know, I mean, we've got 36 kids here tonight competing. You know,
right.
And everybody else may have about 15 show up, which, I mean, it's not everybody's going to travel with you, or they may have something going on, or the weather's scaring people, but you know, that's a lot of kids. You know, we go to these tournaments and things, you know, there's some teams out there that are traveling 40, 50, 60 kids. I mean, this is a massive sport.
It's a little bit bigger in other places right now, but eventually we think
oh yeah, I think next 10 years in Eastern Kentucky, this is going to be huge.
Yeah. And John,
everybody, like I said, you know, this is Perry Central, Perry County right here. We've got a team. Paintsville, Floyd County, Prestonsburg. They combined, but you had Prestonsburg had a youth team last year. Letcher has the Youth Cougars. Johnson Central, Rowan County, Martin County. You know, there's a massive list in East Knott County. There's a lot of kids out here in East Kentucky already doing this. You know, we're just glad to get to be a part of this league and whatnot. You know, it's
So are you in a league?
Yeah, we are in the Hatfield-McCoy Youth League, and we have also got kids here from Chapmansville, West Virginia. But they're the most eastern team of our league, and we're the most western team of our league.
So they get 2 extremes.
Yeah, I think there's 14 teams in our league. There's 3 teams in West Virginia, and then 11 in Kentucky.
And your season ends about a month?
The state tournament is the 1st of February, 1st and 2nd of February, I believe.
So it's on the back end of the season.
Yeah, we're on the downhill slide here. We've got we got the bobblehead tournament next Sunday at Belfry.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's a good tournament. Probably 300-400 kids in that. Middle schoolers gonna get to compete in that as well. Then we're gonna have regions the following week at Boyd County, and that's they're not in our league, but you got Boyd County, Ashland, Lawrence County, all them
Northeast Kentucky.
They're all wrestling. Russell. There's a Rowan County. I think I mentioned them already. Bath County is trying to start a program. It's growing right now. But we'll go to regions in Boyd County, middle school and youth. If you place at the podium 1 through 5, you'll be qualified to go to the state tournament. And that'll be the first weekend in February.
Is that Louisville state tournament? Louisville?
It was last year. I want to say they moved it to Lexington this year. But I may be wrong in that. But
so, Coach, you're pretty much sports all year round with the high school football, Lumberjack football now with Lumberjack, the North Fork Lumberjack Wrestlers. So you're pretty well busy all year round. Yeah,
it's nonstop. I'm glad you just get to help provide these kids opportunity to do this.
I know.
I wish this was around when I was a kid. I'm thrilled that my kid gets to partake in it and. All these other young girls and boys, right? It's great. We've got them from 4 years old to 14 years old out there.
And Jeremy, I'm going to say this: I think the kids that have enjoyed themselves the most are the ones with the pool noodles hitting these officials in the back. Some of them are hitting them pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're really enjoying that. But I think they've had more fun than anybody has today.
Yeah, my daughter's doing one of those. I thought, or she's taking turns maybe. But she was asking about that before we started tonight. She's going to do that,
That's funny. That's great. Hey, whatever it takes to get kids involved. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And the opportunities, again, you've talked about it. There's more opportunities now for these kids.
This is another sport too that's they offer college scholarships for this.
Absolutely, yes.
And they're not looking for 6'4", 290 running whatever 40-yard dash or none of that. This is, if you can do it, you can do it, and if you're good enough, somebody's gonna come looking at you.
Yeah, and I mentioned too that little golf and tennis and wrestling, kind of the minority college sports. And if his kids want a scholarship, competition is not as fierce as football and basketball as wrestling and tennis and
Yeah, there's there's a lot of work in wrestling. Don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of physical stuff that you don't see, like conditioning and things like that. And,
but Coach Combs talk about how intense that 1 minute round is, and kids are physically just wore out.
Yeah, like these middle schoolers, they're having to go a minute 30 seconds.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
Taxing, but there's a lot of work goes into wrestling, but you don't have those uncoachables, height, weight, speed. They're not. If you're 5'8", 180 pounds, and you're
this is your wrestler, sport.
Yeah,
this is for you. Yeah,
somebody's going to be looking at you if you're competitive at this. It's not it'd be easier.
Well, it's just good for Breathitt County and all the surrounding counties. I know you got some kids from Morgan County on
We
your
have
roster.
kids. We have kids from 5 different counties and 7 different school districts.
You got Riverside.
We got Riverside kids. We got Jackson City kids. We've got Morgan County, Wolfe County, Lee, Owsley, Breathitt. You name it. They're it's like I said, this is a really good opportunity, and we're glad to help those kids out that want to come over here and take part in this. We're not affiliated with a school in this youth program like the Lumberjack football team. You don't have to go to Breathitt County schools to be a part of this club here. But
I tell you what, I'm just glad for you guys to every project you and Coach Allen and Coach Combs and every project you seem to touch works out because you guys you have the kids at their best interest at heart, and you put the work ethic behind it, and the kids know that, and the community believes in you. So everything you all do is successful.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate along the way, and blessed with some people that's helped us learn what we need, the right way to go about doing this, and I think we're well established as a youth program. We'll have 8, maybe 9 opportunities to compete this year. With this youth team, we could have competed more, but it would take some traveling. But
right,
we're glad that I'm going to mention Andrew Baldwin from Belfry has really been a big factor in helping us do this. He, I've had several phone calls with him, texts. How do I do this? Where do I need to register these kids to
help you, right?
Yeah, just to get us in the right direction, just to get us rolling. It was hard, and to fundraise. This is a nonprofit organization we've started here. We got a nonprofit LLC, and it's hard to fund that.
It is,
and that's what we're generating revenue here tonight by hosting this with our concessions, and we've got shirt sales, we've got ticket sales, all that. This helps us stay afloat.
Yeah, it takes a lot of finances to do, especially a non-affiliated program. But I tell you what, the fans have had a good time tonight. I know Steve and I have, and just learning and watch these young men and women compete at a high level.
Yeah, it's a great experience. I tell you, it's the first one I went to last year. We went to Belfry to a duel like this. And I fell in love with it. Like it's high intense the entire time. It's a non-stop emotional roller coaster.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell.
There it is with the pool noodle.
You to some of the parents, they get closer to the man as they can get to watch their kids compete, and emotional, like you said, emotional roller coaster here at Lee. And I invite your next event. for fans to come watch this because it's nonstop wrestling action. There's always movement. There's no halftime. There's no timeouts.
Yeah.
It just constantly go.
Oh yeah, it's great. You know, and it's like it's exhausting to coach at times because you trying to communicate with your wrestler on the mat. Like you can see these guys coaching these kids as the match is going. They're trying to talk the kid through what needs to be done. And by the end of the night, like you're
wore out.
Yeah, it's taxing on you.
And plus, you got to take care of your kids on the other mat, get them ready
yeah.
to go, and a lot of logistics, a lot of things going on here that folks just don't realize that you guys do behind the scenes.
Yeah, and
like,
you see these kids sitting around the rings here. It's like that everywhere you go. I mean, we went to the regions last year at Lawrence County. There was over 600 kids competed there that day. And they were like lined these mats, you know. And I'll say this too, like, you know, we've been places and our kid might wrestle a kid from Letcher County, and let's say the Letcher County will beat our kid. Well, when our kid's wrestling over here, 20 minutes later, here's that Letcher County kid cheering our kid on. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great, you know, they shake hands before they wrestle. They shake hands after they wrestle. You shake the opposing coach's hand. It's a really
it teaches respect, character, and coach too. With social media now, these kids are making lifelong friends out of a young age from Letcher, from Leslie, at a young age, and they can help each other grow up and become the best versions of themselves. So I tell you, you guys have done well so fast to put an event like this on together in Breathitt County, and
we're glad to do it. I mean, we're thrilled these kids get this opportunity, and we want to keep trying to grow and you know, do the best we can with it.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, everything you guys do, you do well, and you put your heart into it because people know in our community you do have the best intentions for every child that you coach, and it's more than just a sport. It's more than football. It's more than wrestling. To teach these young men and young women responsibility, character, hard work, and you know. You gotta to achieve anything in life. You gotta put the time in.
Oh, you do, and they know when you're just showing up, because you got to be there, and they know whenever you know you're putting forth the effort.
They know it.
That needs to be done. You know?
They know it.
You can't fool kids. You know, everybody. You know, they may be young, but they
know.
Yeah, they do.
They know. So, Coach, you know, overall tonight, how you view over tonight's event? What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, everybody's getting to compete. Everybody's having a good time. You know, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a massive success here. We've got a lot of people in here watching. You know, you come, and we're thankful too that you know the park has this building leased, and they let us come in here and do this, and let us have this night to ourselves to be able to host something like this. You know, so we're thankful that they let us use this gym.
Such a big advantage, right middle of town.
Yeah.
To have a college floor that you've got enough room for the mats, enough room for the media and the fans. So just kudos to Brittany at the Jackson Parks.
Oh yeah, they've been so helpful to us, and you know they always say, you know, anytime that you want to do anything, let us know, and we'll make it happen for you.
And they do.
So we get the opportunity to come here and practice any day of the week. It's very fortunate. We're very, very fortunate.
Well, it's all about teamwork, and we're really just one big Breathitt County family.
Oh yeah. Well, these same kids, someone's going to wake up and play basketball in this gym tomorrow.
Well, so some of these kids nowadays, Steve, has so many opportunities to coach more, to just play so many different sports, to find a sport that they're good at or their niche at.
Growing up, James, you and I had BYF until we got to middle school. That's pretty well what we had.
That's what you had.
And now there's more opportunities for all these kids with different sports. I mean, golf, they've had golf teams. They've got bass fishing, wrestling though. But but this one seems to be really taking off here in the last few years. I agree with Coach Moore. I was surprised personally when we got here how many people came in to watch. And I know a lot of them are parents or whatever, but now there's some people here that are not necessarily parents. Might be family members. There's some friends of the people that are competing. But I mean, we've done basketball games where we've not had this big of a crowd, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like you say. I mean, and some people are maybe slowly leaving. Some of the younger kids need to go home, go to bed, and whatnot. But I mean, these people have sat here till 10 or 11 o'clock. And I've seen it happen. Like we went to Prestonsburg to Allen Central. They hosted us last year around this same weekend, and we were over there wrestling till 11 o'clock. And it was just as full as it is now.
Right.
At 11 o'clock at night. I mean, them kids, they just, if they can keep going, we'll stay here, and we'll stay here as long as these kids want to. It's.
I tell you what, Coach, it's so many components to make this thing go on, and you're a big part of that. And we sure appreciate all you do for Breathitt County football, Breathitt County youth, and just to, of course, you got a real tough job being a state trooper. You constantly put your life on the line and keep everybody else safe, and I appreciate that too very much. What you guys do.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm glad to get to be a part of these. Be a part of providing these kids this opportunity. It's anything you can do for the kids around here.
Yes.
The better off they. They need that. There's really not a lot that Jackson offers young people, other than the sports and things like that. We don't have the tourism maybe like Lexington or Louisville.
Opportunities of the big cities, yeah.
You want to do something on your spare time, you got to play sports here.
And thanks to you guys, these kids have these opportunities to play youth football, youth wrestling. Thanks to you guys, you Coach Moore and Coach Allen and Coach Combs, and just thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're glad we got good help. We've got Kelvin Hernandez down here.
Coach Hernandez, yes.
Coach T.J. Fraley he's helping us out. County Howard, we got we've got a lot of support here. Also, one of our Morgan County folks, Justin Flannery, he's also a member of Kentucky State Police. He helps us coach some too. He's got some kids involved in our club. He's got a jiu-jitsu background and all that. He's been a really good addition for us. They're from Morgan County.
West Liberty.
That's the West Liberty kids, yeah.
So I tell you what, it takes a village to raise these kids, and you got everything in place. And I'm just glad that the good night for you, Coach, and glad the kids had a good time. The spectators enjoyed themselves, and it's just, Coach Steve, it's something that's hard to believe you guys got this done this fast. So kudos to you, Coach Moore.
It took some work, I tell you. It's and like you said, you got to have a lot of people involved, and we do, thankfully. It's another person. I don't see him here tonight. I think he had a little bit of vehicle trouble, but Mike Bowen, Ethan Bowen's dad, and Mike's helped us tremendously. He's always here to help set up. He's always here to help clean up. Whatever we've needed, Mike's helped us out.
Mike's a great guy. I've known him a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you got a great group of parents too, Coach.
We do. Yeah, we absolutely do. They've been a thrill, joy to work with.
Well, they're getting ready to start. I was going to say we'll take a break, but they've got another match getting ready to start. I think we're getting to the point where most of these kids have competed at least once, and we've had them on the live stream. So that's a
down
good
here,
thing.
You got a middle school match going between. This is Connor Griffin for us.
In the black and blue.
In the black and blue.
So tell us, Coach, what we're watching right now.
So they just started the match. They're in the neutral position. So the Prairie, now this is awarded 3 points for the takedown to the Prairie Central wrestler. He's trying to work a half Nelson to get our wrestler rolled over, which he did, and he's got near fall, now he's got fall. So he got the pin there. As you can see, there's a significant size difference there too. But and this isn't a tournament, this is a duel, and we're going to show up and we're going to match up weights best we can and give people the opportunity to compete. And that's and losing a match like that for him may help him down the road. You get in a situation, get somebody larger than you, stronger than you, bigger than you. You get on the mat later with somebody your size. A match like that's going to, give you a little bit better experience.
Almost like a strength of schedule type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There are RPIs. And how about this next match, Coach? What we got here?
That's Jace Bowen from us. Against the Prairie Central wrestler. Starting the match, they're in the neutral. He's trying to shoot for a single leg takedown. He's got it. It's 3 points awarded to Jace Bowen. He should be working to roll this young man back over to his back to try to work for a pin.
That's what he's working on. Yeah.
I think the Prairie Central wrestler's got his head hooked, which is good, smart on his part. Look, we got some kids. We're going to switch back over to Floyd County mat over here.
I think so.
Try to compete with them. You know, I mean, that's, you know, something else that's great is we've got, like we said, Floyd County, Paintsville, Perry. We have Chapmansville, West Virginia. And we've got two Pike County wrestlers, Pikeville wrestlers, I'm sorry. And which they've got some Breathitt County ties. You know, Brad Allen, former Breathitt County over at Pikeville, doing great. Brought his kids over there and compete tonight, and we're thankful, you know, he done that. So.
Because Breathitt County got the win there on the other mat, and Brad Allen, quite the football player now.
But while we've got a little bit of a break in action, let's take a commercial break real quick. Coach Moore, stay right here. We'll get you when we come back. This is WJSN Sports.
Dairy Queen on Highway 15 in Campton is a proud supporter of youth sports. They want you to know they have the best drive-through service with friendly faces and quick drive-through times. You can come get breakfast, lunch, or dinner and finish off with one of our sweet treats. We have many to choose from. Come dine in or carry out at Dairy Queen in Campton or give us a call at 606-668-6363.
Hi, this is Karen Bunn, Director of the Methodist Mountain Mission. Right now, we have more items in our stores than ever before. Our Jackson store is next to the post office. We have stores in Hazard, in West Liberty, and 4 other stores in Southeast Kentucky. Stop by Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 4, and take advantage of huge inventories at low prices. Methodist Mountain Mission Stores. You'll love shopping with us.
Since 1962, Citizens Bank and Trust of Jackson has been proud to serve the community. They care about the people of Breathitt County and are the only locally owned bank in the community. With 2 branches in Jackson and 1 in Beattyville, they're never too far away when you need them. And with the latest innovations in banking, keeping track of your finances has never been easier. Helping to grow Breathitt County as leaders for over 60 years. That's Citizens Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Jim Baker Auto Parts is located behind Goodyear and BP on Highway 15 South in Jackson. There's parking for all vehicles, including 4-wheelers. They carry paint and the store is packed with parts. Also, if a part needs to be ordered, they can do that as well. Jim and Eugene Baker offer great service and are proud to support all local athletes. Come check out Jim Baker Auto Parts and their House of Knowledge.
And we're back at Van Meter Gymnasium here on the campus of, it's the Lee's College campus of Hazard Community Technical College as we get ready. Actually, we have a match going on the far mat over there if Coach Moore wants to kind of get into that for us.
Yeah, so he's fixing to get a pin here. There you go. He rolled back over. You had near fall points for the Paintsville wrestler there. I didn't count the time, but I'd imagine he probably got about 5 points out of that. He's in near fall again on the Prairie Central wrestler. They just ended the round with the pool noodle there. So he probably got about 5 more points right there. So.
And that means the time is up. And it's 90 seconds on their match is 90 seconds per round. Is that correct?
If it is middle school, which it may very well be middle school, and it could also be a 12U match. I'm not sure, but.
Looks like they've got a minute on the scoreboard over on the far side.
That'd be a 12U match, looks like, just judging by those kids.
Okay.
So here they're in the restart position. Next round, Paintsville wrestlers on the bottom, Prairie wrestlers on the top. This is it's a restart position, also called the referee position. Now, starting here, if the Paintsville wrestler can escape and cause separation from the Prairie wrestler, he'll earn a point for the escape.
Right.
This position is from wrestling from the bottom and escaping is, like I said, that's how Brock Lesnar won his national title.
Okay. And then here on the near mat, the brown mat on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so this is Sean Johnson here with us, wrestling the Floyd County wrestler.
And Sean is wearing the black and the blue, and the Floyd County is in the kind of the camo with the orange strip.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean.
Yep, there he's trying to work a little too high. He needs to be lower than that. There's a takedown. That's 3 points for Sean right there. Either going to have to reset them because they're going out of bounds. Yep, there's the referee's going to stop it, reset them. Almost got a pin down there. Looks like Perry and Paintsville. They're near fall. I think that's a pin. Call. Oh, no, saved by the bell again. Pool Noodle got into the match here, ended the round.
Sometimes they're hitting those officials pretty hard in the back with those Pool Noodles.
Yeah. So I don't know who got the decision the last round, but the way it works, if the Paintsville wrestler chose the previous round, the Perry wrestler would have the decision for the third round. Well, the match ended, so. Yeah. But that's generally how it goes. You'll see these referees tossing a coin between rounds. There's a green side and a red side, which correlates to the green ankle bracelet and the red ankle bracelet. And whoever wins the toss has a choice to start neutral, which is both wrestlers standing up facing off, start on top or start on bottom in the restart position, or they can choose to defer to the next round. At which point the other wrestler has to choose neutral, top, or bottom.
Sean Johnson looks like he's still at it, looks like.
Yep, I think they're going to round 2, if I can read that laptop right down there. Round 2.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good toss. He's a near fall and pin. That's a risk you take. You try to compete high like that. I mean, that's everything. Football, wrestling, everything.
Right.
You got to be low. You can't go in.
The key word there, leverage.
Yes, and that's and Sean's young. This is his first year in it, and it's and I'll say that these kids that we had started the program last year, and that age group 8 and under, 6 and under, are way more aggressive than these kids that started this year. Yeah, massively. We don't let them. We try to keep them from competing against each other in practice or sparring with each other in practice a lot, because that's a lot. I mean, that's I ain't gonna say. I mean, it could be hard for their self-esteem.
Right.
You
got to cage them up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep them in it. You don't want to discourage them from continuing. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, this wrestling is going. You can tell the enthusiasm in the fans and the players and the kids participating. And you just know it's going to catch on. Yeah,
I mean, we've been here for almost 3 hours doing this now. And these kids are just, I've had them come up to me just walking around the gym. When am I going to wrestle again? When's my next match?
Ready to go.
Oh, yeah, they can't wait. Or they'll they may need to go to the bathroom or something, and they'll come up to you, hey,
I'm ready.
Am I fixing to wrestle?
I'm ready.
Because I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
they're afraid they're going to miss out.
Yeah, don't let them start without me.
Yeah.
Understand that. Totally understand that. But yeah, it's a learning experience for us, and I'm sure for a lot of people watching now. I'm sure we've got a lot of people watching going, why are they not giving us play-by-play on that? And I'm going to be honest with you, at the moment,
that's why the coaches are here.
Not comfortable enough for that personally. Yeah. We've been working on putting this together. We got it together today, but we're getting to the point now, and we're going to let Coach Moore kind of go back into this one too, give a little more instruction on what's going on.
We've got Gatlin Allen here. He's wrestling Floyd County wrestler here. He's got some points for a takedown. Now that's going to be whenever this kid has multiple points of contact on the ground, which he just scored a reversal. That's 2 points. I think he's got a reversal. Yep, he's got a reversal now. So whenever Gatlin is in a position of control on the Floyd County wrestler, is when he got the points for takedown. When the Floyd County wrestler then took control, he got 2 points for the reversal. Now he's getting near fall points on Gatlin. He's turning. He's about to pin himself, looks like. Bridging.
Bridging looks like, yeah.
Got saved by the round. I would say the Floyd County wrestler is up by points. I don't know how much. It should be, maybe 6 or 7 to 3.
Yeah, I can't see the scoreboard from here.
Yeah. They're going to start back in this next round in neutral position. Or no, they haven't flipped the coin yet. Got the referee flipping the coin here. A decision goes to Floyd. They deferred. And Coach Hernandez is signaling for Gatlin to start on bottom.
I think Gatlin actually signaled that he wanted to start the bottom, what it looked like.
And, you know, and then people may not realize it, but Gatlin is a very talented wrestler. He's placed third place in regions last year, and you know, could have been top in the championship match had he you know, not made some mistakes early on. But he's very skilled. He's a very fierce competitor too.
Well, a very intense match in front of us here.
You know, at the same time too, like these Floyd County kids, that program's probably been going for several years now.
Right. So big advantage.
Yeah, so Gatlin's 10 years old, wrestling, I'm assuming another 10-year-old that's probably wrestled for 5-6 years to Gatlin's 2.
He's trying to keep that shoulder off the mat.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep from the pin. He's going to survive it.
So that just 1 minute rounds, but it's a long 1 minute for these.
Yeah, it's taxing. I mean, they're getting some they're
you can
heavy
tell.
breathing.
Yeah, you can tell.
Hands on hips. So now the Floyd County wrestler has a decision. If he wants neutral, top or bottom, I think he just signaled to his coach he wants to be on top. Now, Gatlin would be start on the bottom.
Right.
And in doing so, if he's able to escape, you know, he'll earn a point for the escape. Or if he gets a reversal where he takes control of the Floyd County wrestler, he'll get 2 points.
And here we go.
See, they almost ran out of bounds there. Oh, they started neutral, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they did.
Floyd County wrestler. He's not been awarded the takedown yet. There you go.
Both still up on their feet.
Yeah. I can't see the scoreboard, but I'm assuming it's pretty close.
Yeah, and they're under 10 seconds for
surrounding the mat here. They reset. Let's play. What is there? 2 seconds. Now they have to reset that clock to about 3 seconds. You know, and 3 seconds don't sound like a lot of time, but
it's enough to score points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could shoot, make a takedown, single leg, double leg. They should be starting back neutral. They ended the match.
I think it's over, yeah.
And the Floyd County wrestler gets the win, shaking the opposing coach's hands. It was a very competitive match right there.
Yes, it sure was.
Yeah, it's all been fun to watch, but that one was really good to watch.
Yeah, Gatlin's over here getting coached up by
Coach Allen. Yeah.
And it looks like Paintsville and Perry on the other end.
Yeah.
Let's see that, right?
Yep, I believe so. Paintsville wrestler's got the points for a takedown. He's working a half Nelson on the Perry wrestler to roll him over to try to obtain the pin, and he got it. You know, and I tell you too, like, you know, maybe these kids did only wrestle 2 times, whatever. It's really taxing as you get into the night.
Yeah.
You know, if they get 3, 4, 5 matches, it starts wearing on
It wears them legs out, don't it?
Oh yeah, there'll be some kids sleep good tonight.
Yes, they will.
There'll be some parents
Coaches
sleep good
too.
today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Coach, tell us about after when everything's over tonight. What happens?
So, you know, I'm gonna back up and say that we're very appreciative that Prairie Central let us borrow their competition mat down here. So I'm gonna be loading this mat back up, and I'm gonna be taking it back to Hazard
Tonight.
They have to leave early tomorrow for
Late
a tournament.
night.
Yeah, it's gonna be late night, but you know,
It's worth it.
Yeah, and you know, they're not gonna be around tomorrow for me to bring it back, so I'm gonna take it back tonight. But you know, we've got all these parents help us out. They're gonna help us clean up. put the chairs up, sweep the floor, get our mat rolled up, put back up on the stage. You know, we'll get everything put back in storage. We've got an army up here. You know, it's we got parents that volunteer we've done this twice, and anytime we've asked for help, these parents step up. Like, you know, they're glad to help us out.
So tonight, how hard is it to load that mat on a vehicle?
Well, be honest with you, when we borrowed Belfry's mat, we tried to stand those pieces up. They're 6-foot rolls is what they wind up being. We tried to stand them vertically, and we had to fight the wind the whole way to Jackson with it. We just realized when we got that mat from Prairie today, we just rolled it up on the trailer and stacked them up and never had a problem. You know, so
learn as you go, right?
Yep.
Learn as you go.
Everything's new to us.
Yeah, learn as you go.
We might be a year or two, but we're learning as we go.
We've got an intense match here on the near mat.
Trying to see who that is. I can't see from the table. It might be either Chase Hoskins or Gabe Bowen. I can't tell. Round just ended.
You're about to find out real quick which one it is.
That's Chase Hoskins. He's also a pretty competitive kid. He wrestled with us last year. Competed at the state tournament, regional tournament. You know, and you can see these guys right now. They're getting tired. They're winded.
You can tell.
You know, I want to say Chase is about 92, 93 pounds. So this match is, you know, somewhere between 90 and 100 pounds between these two young men. They're circling, trying to get a point of advantage. Chase just shot for a takedown. The Floyd County wrestler sprawled and evaded it. Now the Floyd County wrestler is getting the takedown points. He's got Chase in near fall. Chase is trying to avoid the pin. Trying to work his way back to his stomach. You know, there's 20 seconds left in this round, and it's hard to sit and fight and try to maintain control there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're twisted. Your back is getting turned one way, and you're trying to pull the torso back the other way. And, and
that's the thing, you know, this sport, you're working your entire body every time you step out there. And it's, you know, I mean, gymnastics, you know, you wouldn't think that would correlate. I know everybody tries to make the comparison to football and wrestling and how much better, you know, it may make you as a football player or whatever. Right. Gymnastics, to me, is also, like, right up there.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is, you think, you know, gymnastics and cheerleading go hand in hand, but it's, you know, you're using your whole body to do that stuff. You know, every muscle you got. So
muscles you had no idea you had, probably. Yeah.
And they feel them after, you know, when they get done. Everything's exhausted. So they're in the restart position. The Floyd County wrestlers chose bottom. He almost got the escape point. And he got the reversal. So that'd be awarded 2 points there. He's gonna. Is it the?
No, there was a whistle, but it wasn't for that match. Might have been the other end.
Could have been.
There it goes.
They get the pin. Yep, the Floyd County wrestler won it. Now I appreciate these guys officiating for us here too. We got Tate and Skidmore down here. Better known as most people in Breathitt County as Tater. He's almost a household name.
Yeah.
And we got Kylan Combs down here and Corey Combs. Both those guys wrestled with us last year. We tried to get these high school kids involved too, because they wanted to experience it.
Right.
And, so last year I would try to call ahead and try to get some varsity guys to show up so we could compete with them as well. And it's just really, really hard because those schedules don't always line up.
Right.
You know, they may have practice or they may have a duel or a tournament they're going to that they don't want them.
Yeah, I can understand.
Risk of injury, whatnot.
I can understand.
So we didn't get to do it this year, but you know we're thankful those guys come and officiate for us and
still being a part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but we've now they've learned a lot. They're learning. This is the second duel they've officiated. And I'll tell you this, they've improved so much from the first one.
And it's new to everybody, right, Coach?
Oh yeah. Everybody here is learning. You know, I mean, some of these guys that's traveled here to wrestle may have competed more or coached more or whatnot, but it's we're glad to get to be a part of it with them, and we're thankful that they traveled to Jackson tonight to be here with us.
Yes.
And help us. You know, like I said, we got them here from Chapmansville, West Virginia.
I mean, that says a lot.
They've came a long way to Jackson.
Well, I mean, it's way past Belfry, so I mean, it's a good haul.
Yeah, I would say they're probably between 2.5 3 hours.
Yeah.
He said he's got a hotel in Hazard Holiday Inn tonight, so he's not gonna try to make that trek back.
Yeah.
Now who we got out here now? We've got Clark Fugit going up with I guess that's a Floyd County wrestler there. They're in the second period. They just started neutral. Clark's going for a double leg takedown. I think he scores it. Yep. Yeah, he's got the 3 points. Signal by the referee. Yeah, they're trying to peel. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Thomas. We've got a lumberjack on lumberjack here.
Yeah.
This is Clark and Thomas wrestling each other. Thomas is fairly new to our program. He's been around for a couple weeks now. Still learning. Very, very talented kid. Very athletic kid. Aggressive. You know, and he won a match tonight against one of the Paintsville wrestlers in his second match. First time the kid's got to compete this season.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, he came out about 2 weeks ago when basketball season ended.
Right.
And has just fell in love with it. You know.
Well, good.
You know, that's something we tried to forward that opportunity to these kids whenever basketball season ended. You know, if you just want to come and try it and
see what
just
you think
practice,
about it. Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's good. They had the opportunity to try it out and see if they like it or not.
Yeah, and that's what we've kind of, you know, we tried to host a camp last year for 3 days, and it might have been like $20 or something. And
right.
that went toward their registration if they signed up.
Right.
And, you know, that's what we kind of try to tell everybody that comes to us, you know, let them come and try it for a few days before you want to register them and sign them up.
That's good. That's good.
You know, because we don't, you know, times are tough for everybody, and we don't want you to waste your money and your kid come for a day or two and then decide this ain't for me. And then
well, that's good. You give them a trial period.
Yeah, I guess like you said, it's new to all of us, and we don't we don't want to cause anybody any monetary issues or nothing with registration fees and whatnot. But
yeah, no, there's plenty of things going around that can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, Coach, you late night tonight taking the mat back.
Yeah, we're going to take the mat back. I'm trying to get back here as quick as I can to help finish this cleanup, get everything ready for the park tomorrow. They've got, I guess it's the opening day for the youth basketball
Starts
league.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's right.
They play here tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to put the basketball goal back down there and leave some chairs out for the bench.
Hopefully, time you get back, it'll be done.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice.
It's looking like it might be wrapping up here. I don't know how many more matches you're going to have.
Yeah,
on the other end looks done. Looks like you're down to one mat at this point.
Yeah, they've got some kids going just playing down there.
I'll say this. I've enjoyed this here tonight. I know we've talked about it. I think you might have mentioned it to me. Casey and I talked about it a few times. He and I were texting about it for the last week and a half, and I had 100 million questions. Got here a little early today to try to see what we could do. There's some things I'd like to, on our end, kind of change how we do what we do. But, you know, I definitely would enjoy getting another opportunity to do this.
Yes.
I think you guys don't have any more scheduled at the moment at home? Or?
We don't, but that could be subject to change any minute. Right. I mean, maybe – you know, there's one weekend that's free.
After tonight's success, though, I mean, there's a lot to go on.
Yeah, and see, that was, you know, last year we didn't host any, and we traveled everywhere. And our goal was this year we host at least once.
Right.
And now we've got the opportunity to host twice. I like doing this. I don't like having to get home at midnight myself or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Home's hard to beat.
It is. I mean, and these families, you get so much more participation. You know, we had 36 kids here wrestling tonight. We may take 25 on the road sometimes because some of them have other things going on the next day or whatnot. But, you know, we definitely want to do this again, and we'd love to have you guys back out. I mean, I think it was great.
I think it was great, too.
You know, eventually maybe we'll get to the point where we can put us a score table up here somewhere where we can see these kids' names.
That would be the next step.
Yeah.
And on the broadcast,
I'd love
to have the graphic on there so we can keep up with these scores. We know how it's going. You know exactly who it is that's out there and all that stuff. So
we'll get there one day. You know, it's baby steps. That's like I said. Our goal was to host one time this year. We got 2, so we improved 100%.
There you go.
Looks like we're going to get one more match. We'll stick for one more match, and then we'll probably wrap our broadcast up. Going strong for 3 hours now, and
nonstop action.
100%.
So we got Hudson Allen here. Like I said, young man with Breathitt County ties. His father, a former Breathitt County Bobcat, Brad Allen. He's going to be facing off against a Floyd County wrestler. Hudson's 9 years old. He's 113 pounds. So I assume this Floyd County wrestler's close to the same.
Pretty close.
And you guys have a scale over here too to kind of match that up.
Yeah, we've like I said, we try to weigh our kids before we get here tonight at practices and build a roster. And you know, some kids don't get to make it all the time, and we bring that scale just in case we need it. So
one of those things you learn as you go, right?
Yeah. They say we got a takedown. We got points for takedown. We're about to get a reversal here out of. Just got 2 points reversal to the Floyd County. So the score's 3 to Hudson Allen, 2 to the Floyd County wrestler.
Trying to see if I can see the time here. Can't locate the time on the screen.
Getting some near fall points for the Floyd County wrestler.
Pull noodles out. Oh, there it goes.
They get the pin prior to the round in it.
He did.
Yep, so the Floyd County wrestler was victorious here by fall.
Well, I think everybody that's here, we've had them on at least once on our stream. Some of them been on a couple, maybe 3 times, and that's good. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Coach Moore, we really appreciate you joining us, helping us out on the broadcast. Coach Allen, Coach Combs, and everybody that's contributed to this. Of course, thank Rick Hensley running the camera for us tonight. I know people ask, was that going to be on the radio too? Like, I don't know if we're going to get it on the radio. But maybe when we get a little bit better and we know a little bit more about how things are going and get a better flow to the broadcast too.
Learn some names.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we can kind of get into that. But as of right now, I'm tickled to death that we were able to get what we got on. I appreciate the hard work you guys are putting into this, giving these kids opportunities to get into this. Well, I'll call it a new sport for this area. It's not a new sport, but it is for this area. But definitely appreciate all your all's hard work. So
absolutely.
We appreciate you guys coming and
thank you, Coach Moore. Thank you very much. We sure appreciate
broadcasting for us and these kids. And I mean, it's a great opportunity. So
like a lifelong memory.
Looking forward to some more of it.
Yes, sir.
We're going to sign it off again for Coach Moore. I'm Stephen Neese from College.